Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably $sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 milli on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
lot of you question whether or not I'm here for truth. Question if I was a real flat earther or not. Well, the reality of it is there are no flat earthers. There are only globe deniers. Every flat earth evidence really is just a globe phenomenon, explained by the globe. Don't you see that? See, I'm still here for truth. And now there are certain people in my way. You can deny evidence, but you can't deny truth. Flat Earth, you ask a lot of questions. I think it's time you answer some now. What is up, party people? All right, so didn't go live yesterday, so I decided to go live today, and I actually have some things I want to talk about. This was a conversation had yesterday over at the Discord and Debate Flat Earth and more. Some of the guys were talking about some of the theories that science has, and one of the main aspects of this was the theories that behind the Big Bang. Well, in discussing the theories behind the Big Bang, you then have to discuss how they come up with this, with these hypotheses or theories, so to speak. And then the idea came into the topic turned into theoretical physicists. And I have a real shady idea of what a theoretical physicist does, and kind of wanted to talk about that today and kind of figure out, what they do and how they do it. So let me go ahead and head over to the Discord right now and get everything turned on. Hang on one second. All right, I think that is it. Oops. There it is. What is up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, Sean. How you going, buddy?
Pretty damn good. How you guys doing?
Now.
Oh no, why is my thing saying only Erebus is talking? He's not even talking.
Odd.
Yeah, Discord has some issues sometimes.
There it goes.
It's Barney.
Hey, how you doing, Barney?
Sleepy.
It's late for you, huh? Really late.
It's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't feel bad though. How you doing, Hannah?
Now.
Huh?
I'm good.
Have you been on lockdown?
It's pretty much the same as it always is around here. It's just we don't have any of the stores open, restaurants and that kind of stuff. I live in a pretty quiet area anyway.
Yeah, so kind of like everyone knows the people that will do that kind of stuff to them, so they stay away from them only.
Pretty much. And our local stores here, man, the Walgreens, you go in there and they're just about pretty much spraying you down with Lysol. They've got gloves on, and Matt, I'm serious. They're like freaks around here.
Yeah, so today was my first experience with the COVID-19 involving my actual life. So I've like I've said it before. I'm working still. I'm in construction. I'm still part of the essential job. So every week we do a safety meeting, not just me, but the whole the whole site basically. Well, today was very different from any other safety meeting I've ever had in my life. So first we all meet up in the center of the site, but there's a little different because usually we all kind of pack together so we can hear the person speaking. Well, now we made a big ass circle. When I say a big ass circle, I mean this circle encompassed about 60 feet across.
Because you're all 6 feet apart, aren't you?
All 6 feet apart, and all by the superintendent on the jobs where he's like, everyone's 6 feet apart. Then we went into about a 10-minute conversation about all the stats that have been put out for that day of COVID. I didn't get the pamphlet. I should have, but basically every construction company, any safety meetings, California has sent out this pamphlet. So he was reading off this pamphlet for about 10 minutes. And this is the only real weird part because the whole meeting lasted about 20 minutes talking about this shit. But I've never seen it. So there's an existing building on the site and where I'm trenching around and everything. But along with that, there are locks on gates. There are tools laying around, like shovels and all the other shit laying around, equipment. The supervisor, and this is the weird part, the supervisor has hired 2 laborers, and their job is to walk around all day wiping down any surface anyone would touch, including equipment handles not even being touched. So yeah, that was my experience for the COVID virus now. It was very weird because these guys literally walked around with little Windex bottles and wiped down counters and doorknobs and machine knobs and handles and buttons. And that's all they
Great.
did.
I wish they do that every cold and flu season. A lot of people would not get sick if we practiced that kind of hygiene.
Or they got like what do you got, flu shots and shit, huh?
That too, but people still get sick during the cold and flu season.
Yeah, well, we don't get shut down for flu season, so.
So I don't mean shut down. I'm just talking about just being more hygienic, being very careful and, washing your hands and spraying down surfaces.
That's not fair because you work in a hospital, so you're like super like anal about washing your hands all the time.
I work with preemies, and one cold will kill a preemie.
Yeah, but not about that part. That would have been fucked up. I meant, but I don't on a daily basis. Like, oh, yeah, that was the other part of the meeting. So they brought in 3 extra hand wash stations. They had a hydrant with a nozzle attached to it with soap hanging from it. And he kept telling everyone, don't touch your face unless you've washed your hands. So every time I had an itch on my face today, I felt like I had to hide in a fucking corner to scratch my face.
Yeah,
no,
you're
supposed to go wash your hands and then scratch your face.
Well, here's the problem with that.
You use your fingers.
And I thought about this. Here's the problem. And this is the same thing that happens in bathrooms that people don't ever really think about. So let's just pretend I go in the bathroom, I wash my hands, but then I got to turn that faucet off, which I turned on with my dirty hands. Then I got to walk out that door and grab that handle, which someone else has already grabbed that doesn't wash their hands. So when I get down to the whole nitty gritty of it all, it really doesn't fucking matter. If you're sick, don't go anywhere. If you're sick, don't touch anybody. If you're sick right now, I ain't gonna lie about that. If I see someone with a cough and a stuffy nose walking around right now, I may punch them. Just for the fact of it.
Here's the thing, Sean, and this goes for all viruses. You don't know you have it you can still pass it along.
Yeah,
Because the symptoms, it takes sometimes up to 2 weeks to incubate.
that's
So,
crazy.
yeah, practice it all through the season. It's not that hard to do. Once you get used to it, you'll do it.
You said your ex-husband worked construction?
It's funny. He owns a concrete construction company.
Yeah, well, ask him how many times a day he has time to wash his hands.
Well, his hands are in concrete, so I think he wears. I'm wondering does he wear gloves? I don't know. We've been divorced 5 years now, so I
He
don't
probably
know
does.
much.
Usually they do.
No, he never used to.
Well, I guarantee he didn't have time to wash his hands every time he wants to scratch his face. Nor do I.
Actually, I wonder
Super
if fly
OCD
ash.
about cleanliness, though. He's the opposite of what you would imagine a concrete person would be like.
If fly ash in concrete actually.
The guy has a bidet in his house, for sakes.
Oh, jeez. What were you saying, Davros?
If fly ash, which is one of the ingredients in concrete, actually might kill corona. Because it's carcinogenic.
Yeah, don't say that. Because you have a bunch of people fucking down in fucking bags of concrete thinking they got it.
That's really bad for your lungs. Don't be breathing that shit.
About 90% of fly ash is silica and alumina. Sand, in other words.
Exactly.
I got a lot of silica in my lungs.
I don't know how much. I was
going
to text him and see if he was still even working.
I'm pretty sure I have silica in my bloodstream by now.
Oh, yeah. I bet if you've been around pouring concrete.
Well, construction in general. I work with a lot of materials and stuff, so I know I got it. I inhaled a lot of dust. I like it. I think if I wasn't around dirt, I'd die. Like too much fresh air.
I'll bet you in my lifetime I've inhaled or swallowed a ton of fly ash. No doubt.
Party time or
no, just climbing around inside stuff that the stuff I worked on was the stuff that collects fly ash. I spent a lifetime covered in that shit when I was out on job sites.
Well, when they invented the TV, did they start doing ads for like if you're sick and you've been around this?
Actually, a little before my time, but I don't think so. Ah.
So what's the topic, Sean G?
Okay.
Certainly isn't fly ash.
No.
Theoretical physics.
Yes.
Putting people to sleep out there, I think.
Well, one of the things that was going on was I was over at Debate Flat Earth Memoir, and they were talking, and this guy named Jen, which he's a handful, but he kept referencing, that Michio Ikaku guy, and I don't really want to talk about him, but that's how the theoretical physicist came up.
I know. Now, I was there.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, my question is, do they use known physics, or do they have to go outside that boundaries to do their job?
Which part of their job? Feynman is a theoretical physicist, or was a theoretical physicist. That clip of him that you so much like playing, that's the job of a theoretical physicist. Make a guess and then calculate the outcomes. Like logically deduce what the consequences of that guess would be. And that's what a theoretical physicist does.
Okay, so it's not, in a sense, making up something outside of the box to come up with a solution. It's using what we know in different...
It is. Right. So your guesses will be much better if you have solid understanding and knowledge of all the existing theories and hypotheses and proposals and what's established and what's not and what can be questioned. But yes, their job is literally to use all of their knowledge and experience to make a guess. And then calculate turn it into a hypothesis, calculate what the predictions of that guess would be.
Okay, so then it's not about outside the box. It's using everything up till that point to try to predict something that's not predicted.
So you're kind of trying to drive it to a very specific place, but it's not like that.
Okay,
the ones that, the instances which are successful, the successes of theoretical physics, are inside the box, or they become the box. They define where the box is, right?
And
when a hypothesis is confirmed and rigid and rigorous and stands up and fits perfectly with the sum of all the other knowledge, then that's the box. But they make the box. They don't think inside the box or outside the box. They're completely free because they're making the box.
So a theoretical physicist will be the one that goes to try to explain what happens after something enters a black hole.
For example, yes.
Okay.
For literally anything. So that there are three main classes of scientists. You have research scientist or observational scientist. You have theoretical scientist. You have the experimental scientist. Right. Research scientists, their job is to poke things with sticks. Right? They go, they take known science or known phenomena or whatever, and they examine them. They prod them, they electrocute them, they poke them, they heat them, burn them, and note down what they were doing very carefully. Or they just observe, right? A person going into the wild and recording all the animals that he sees is a research scientist. Travis is a research scientist. Astronomers that just look out and record which stars they saw at which magnitude or which redshift, they're research scientists.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Theoretical scientists take the sum of observations that was made and try to explain them. So I guess that all of these things that I've heard from research scientists, that the research scientists have accumulated and published, and kind of made a first guess at what it might mean, but that all of it can be summed up this way in a coherent way, so that this research and this research and this research can coexist in the same universe without contradiction, right? And theoretical scientists try to find that guess which works for everything, that works for as many things as possible while being as simple as possible, right?
I see.
When they make that guess, they calculate, well, what if this is true and my guess is the explanation for all of these things that I've researched, is there anything that didn't show up in those observations yet that would necessarily have to be true, right? And then you have Einstein kind of figuring out, so he knows how electricity works, he knows how light propagates, he knows how gravity works, and he makes a guess and says, well, I guess that if this is true and this is true and this is true and this is true, the only way I can explain all of that is by proposing space-time. And well, if I calculate the consequences of that, I can see that light would have to bend in a gravitational field. I can see that gravitational fields need to propagate themselves so that you would have gravitational waves. I can see that it would be necessary that time flows differently in different places, which could be measured by clocks. And then the third class of scientists, which are called experimental scientists, take those theories that are constructed and either find proposed, like the same way that research scientists proposed hypotheses or kind of made initial guesses, theoretical scientists make proposals of experiments, but experimental scientists are the ones who actually design the experiment and perform the experiment and try to kind of bring down the theoretical scientist or discover that the theoretical scientist is correct. And then you have the guy who went to India during, or whatever was, some islands, and actually recorded during the solar eclipse the declination of the stars, confirming Einstein's theory, right?
Yeah, I see. So, well, because I was going to ask, would a theoretical physicist have a team of the research and experiment? Well, okay, no, you can, not in every situation. So I guess it'd be hit or miss depending on whatever the topic is that they're sciencing. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Everything we keep saying, how there's no one scientific theory or method, I'm sorry, scientific method. It's because, it would always depend on what you're sciencing for whatever, and then to the method in which you would use. Because obviously, if we're doing, research on stars, we're not going to be able to do very much experimenting. So, the experimental phase isn't going to be really that necessary, I guess, right?
Well, it depends, right? If let's say, just off the top of my head, let's say some hypothesis says that around every black hole there necessarily has to be one or more brown dwarfs, which are very, very faint stars, right? So an experimental astrophysicist could then try to think up what kind of a telescope could be built to search specifically for those brown dwarf stars around black holes, right? They would be very faint. But he is not merely doing research. He's not merely cataloging what there is to see. He's specifically seeking and thinking up techniques and methodologies to test this prediction of this hypothesis. That's what makes him an experimental scientist.
Okay, I see. I get it now. So, I guess I didn't want to talk about, but now I kind of do because I have questions. That Michio Kaku guy, whatever.
Yeah, Michio Kaku.
Yeah, that's the one. Does this side of science start leading you to always think out the box, I guess you would say? You know what I'm talking about, so hopefully that kind of makes sense. So
yes and no, right?
Like I would see Feynman would, because if they're both the same, do the same thing or same process, I guess. Theoretical physics. Feynman would be on the spectrum of not crazy, whereas Michio Kaku, whatever his name is just nuts. So I mean,
I would say that Michio Kaku is much, much, much tamer than Feynman. Feynman upended the entirety of physics with his work.
Was he correct in doing so?
Not always.
But in many, well, obviously, in some way he was, because of what we know.
So you're not working towards one goal. Like one of major life's works of Feynman was ultimately abandoned because it was fruitless, and it was the backpropagation of waves. He was trying to eliminate. There was very recently a good review of his doctoral thesis, which was backpropagation of forces, because fields and particles self-interacting with themselves through their own fields was causing all of these infinities in quantum physics. And he tried to get rid of fields altogether. And the only way that he could do it was to say, well, maybe everything is traveling backwards through time as well as forwards through time with proportional Half of it goes back in time and half of it goes forward in time of every effect.
Okay.
And then he had, with his mentor, he developed later on kind of a whole model of the universe, which is based around a single particle, that the whole universe is made out of a single electron.
I remember
which
that.
is just going back and forward through time, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, so he was thinking outside the box a lot. That is their work.
Yeah.
You make a guess. You make a guess which seems to cover a lot or as much as possible of the problems that you're trying to solve, and incorporates and fits as much as possible of the data that you're or the observations that you're aware of and familiar with. And you should be familiar with a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
And then when you make that first guess, you start calculating. And that either gets you somewhere, that either gives you a unique prediction that you can test, and then it gets tested and it's either true or false, right?
Mhm.
And if it's false, it's false. That's the end of it.
Yep.
But if it holds up, well, the other option is you can just keep calculating and not getting anywhere, not getting to something that you can test, in which case it usually just kind of fades out and falls away eventually. What if it happens for long enough? And so that's what's kind of happening to string theory.
Okay, I see. So the topic that was discussed and brought that to light, or brought that topic to light, was the Big Bang. Is the Big Bang based on theoretical physics, or is there a lot more behind it? I understand why they believe, or what the evidence behind it is, but is it as known as they think, I guess? Like, you remember, I think I have a better way of asking. You remember how we were discussing, I think we've talked about it a few times, about how, if you go back on the timeline to the Big Bang, the Big Bang doesn't add up to general relativity, and that there was something had to have been before, or something along those lines. Why is it that I don't even know how to ask the question, I guess.
Let Burb tell you how the Big Bang happened.
What was that?
So one big issue about that is that what physicists and astrophysicists call a Big Bang and what is commonly understood to be the Big Bang are not the same thing. So
because otherwise they would be stopped at Big Bang and not have any of this string theory talk.
So the thing which is commonly imagined to be the Big Bang is something that physicists will admit is something that we don't know, how everything started.
Yeah.
The 0 point, right? And there are many ideas in conversation about that, but that thing is a complete unknown. What physicists are calling, like what astrophysicists are calling the Big Bang, is what happened after that. The rapid expansion and then the inflation, and right, and all of those things are pretty well, they're not certain, they're not absolutely understood. There are still many issues with it, but the main concept of it was expanding. So when you look backwards in time, you would see it contracting, which we do. It is getting colder. So when you look back in time, you should see it getting hotter, which we do. And at this point in time, we should stop seeing anything, because there should be just a opaque canvas, because everything would become so hot that light couldn't propagate, which we do, right? So all of the predictions of the main body of theory is confirmed over and over and over and over and over again. So in that sense, yes, Big Bang of that sort is kind of settled science.
Yeah.
It's not only consensus, it is kind of plain.
So
now.
basically, under the guides of how better yet, under the guides of science, everything that we know, everything that we believe to understand, is it's very open to not that it could all change, but various things will change based on obviously our understanding of stuff and things that.
So it could all change in some ways, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, for the Big Bang, that initial origin has multiple different explanations. All of them lead to a small, very dense universe, which then rapidly expands and inflates. But some of them are kind of a previous universe which has contracted, crushed itself, and then started expanding again. Penrose's conformational theory is there have been infinitely many universes kind of since that beginning, which were functioning in different regimes of time.
Yeah, isn't that's like there's like a million universes, right? And in those million universes are millions and billions and billions and trillions of or galaxies and all that stuff. I think I've heard that one before.
There are at least 6 different multiverse theories, which are all very speculative. All of them have some qualities of theoretical grounding. So all of them explain some aspects or a lot of the aspects of what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. Some of them make predictions. Some of them may be testable. Some of them are still in that phase of where we're kind of calculating the outcomes, calculating the consequences of the hypothesis. What does it actually even mean if that is true? Right? What would that tell us about the universe? And if it tells us something about the universe, what of that something can we see?
Yeah.
Can we measure?
Okay, so in encompassing the whole conversation, if let's say string theory worked. String theory worked. All of a sudden they're announcing it and the whole nine. It's not that our previous science changes, it's everything from then on, correct? Or so can't really say that either.
There are situations in which we have to abandon old science, in which some terms and concepts they don't become wrong, they just become useless, which is what happened to ether, right? The thing that I was saying, well, yes, we have kind of disproven the material ether, but all of the properties which were given to ether are found and explained by the quantum soup, by the space-time fabric, by these various sorry, not the quantum soup, the quantum foam, right? The virtual particles that pass on electricity and create force fields. Right? So you really didn't get rid of ether. You've just got rid of the substance of ether, the matter of ether, the thing called ether. But all of its properties, all of its consequences are still there. They've just been explained one by one by other theories. So ether itself has faded away.
Okay, so in another theory, ether could be described as just the fact that the matter in space, not a water, not a median. Basically, it could just be described as a particle or something in space. It's just described differently.
So How do you say
better
it?
yet, better yet, when you were describing that, there's these different ether theories. We've talked about that before. You were saying different terms, like the ether is you said ether isn't one thing. It's not like what Ether Lemonberg talks about. It's not that, but you were saying that there is ether, and like you were just describing, and these different theories. They're you don't just say ether and know what they're saying. So they all have terms of ether, right? Or you know what I mean? Or subnames.
No, ether is not a thing at all, right? But we didn't always know that. There was a portion of scientific research which seriously considered it a thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, why did they consider it a thing? Well, every wave that propagates needs a medium to propagate in.
Sound
waves, needs something that would sound wave, vibrations, whatever, right? Light propagates through vacuum, so there must be some medium which enables that light to propagate. Well, the medium that propagates light will be called ether. Fair enough. Okay. Well, light and time and in electromagnetics, how electric force and magnetic force interact has been explained by Lorentzian theory, which is an ether theory. He modeled it using a fluid that transfers these forces.
What did
now? When
I'm sorry. I'll ask. I was going to say. Okay, I don't know how to ask. So I guess the main question would be, what do gravity waves travel through? But and I get
that's so.
Yeah, go ahead. I think you know where I'm going.
So, and that's what I was getting to. When Einstein explained special relativity, he found a way, like his theory did the same thing that Lorentzian Lorentzian theory did for electromagnetics, except Einstein's theory did it for everything, for every force. For gravity, for electromagnetics, and they didn't know about the other forces yet, but basically for all of the then known physics. So he unified everything.
Okay, but so electromagnetic.
In his theory, what Lorentz has ascribed to ether is kind of just a function of the curvature of space and time. That you do not need this extra fluid, because what was modeled by that fluid is done by space and by space-time itself. It's not that you need this extra substance to create the variations for propagating forces. It is that the space-time is curved itself so that those variations come about. But the variations are there. The thing which motivated Lorentz is still there in Einstein's theory. That's why Gleam will tell you, when Einstein did his theory, Lorentz thanked him for saving the ether.
I see.
Because all of the relevant things, all of the properties, all of the predicates of ether, that all of the things that Lorentz cared about are preserved. The only thing that is lost is a thing called ether, right? A thing in itself, such as like water is a thing, and air is a thing, and space-time is a thing, and ether is not a thing. After Einstein.
Is dark matter a thing?
We don't know. So
okay, yeah.
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same circumstance as ether before we knew. We know what the effect is. We know what kind of the necessary properties are. We can see the effect, we can calculate it, it is measurable, it is real, the effect is there. It is described by the concept of dark matter. Now, whether or not dark matter is a thing in itself is an unknown. It seems to be very likely, it seems to be probable based on what I'm reading. But that's kind of irrelevant. If it goes away, the only way that it can go away is by finding something which has exactly the same properties as dark matter. And I would say that at that point, that's just the thing that you were identifying when you said dark matter.
Okay, I guess it.
On the other hand, it might be found that it is a thing, that it is a substance, that it is something to be dark matter. And in that case, then we'll find a thing which has the property.
And how would... I guess if... I can't ask you... I was just about to ask you, how would they figure this out? But I'm pretty sure if you were able to give me an answer, they probably have been trying to.
They have been trying in many various ways with no success. So they haven't found the thing. They haven't ruled out the thing, and they are pretty like the properties of the thing are obvious and evident and present. They really are there.
When they're seeing them, they're using RF waves for dark matter, we'll say.
Dark matter and dark matter interacts only.
Oh, okay, they're not seeing it
only gravitationally. They're not seeing it with anything else.
So they're. Oh, that's exactly why. Okay, because I was going to say, if it's a thing, theoretically, they're able to send a frequency out or light or some situation where they can bounce it back and know it's a thing.
So one thing that they are kind of pretty dead certain by now is that it's not matter, that it's not any kind of a thing that we already know about. They're pretty dead certain that whether or not it is its own substance or a property of something else, it is something that we don't know what it is. Any way that it could have been explained by atoms or any kind of particle that we know of, matter or energy or interaction that we know of, it's not it. Those have all been hypotheses which gave predictions, and those predictions have been tested and they yielded no result. So none of those things are it.
Oh, and let me just say,
on the basis of, if you have a prediction and you make an experiment and your experiment doesn't fit with your prediction, then your hypothesis is wrong. If you say it's tiny black holes, then right.
Yeah. I see.
White power!
And so on and so
White
forth.
power! White power! White power! White power!
What the fuck was that?
Who the
Someone
hell is
that wants
Nick
to get
News
kicked.
Network?
I don't know.
That was
entertaining. He could have at least said something more racist. That wasn't even racist.
Shit, that was loud in my headphones. Who was that?
Man, you guys skip right
It's gone
over
now.
Maxwell's equations. Nothing would stand if James Clerk Maxwell didn't think outside the box, so to say, as he did.
Yes, so the thing that we keep talking about are actually the shoulders of giants. None of those scientists could have done the thing that they did without the scientists before them, and there were many, many brilliant people, both in research and in theoretical sciences and in experimental sciences. Brilliant people who thought outside the box to make things happen, to unify things, to explain more of the world, to make a more consistent theory of the world.
I see.
A question regarding Hello.
Talk a little louder, Crow. You're really low.
Yeah, you hear me?
You're cutting out a bit, but yeah.
Okay. I would say that dark matter is based on assumption that uh, we build or we have the ability to see everything. I mean, every object, like uh, black holes, neutron stars, but we don't see planets. We don't see normal mass. So maybe it's just a normal mass scattered with high intensity in some galaxies.
Yes,
more than
that was the first thing modeled and tested and discarded.
the mass is not enough.
Yes. Because you would, from all of those things, you would still be getting optical occlusion, right? The thin gas and dust in the universe is enough to occlude stars. If you had so much matter, right? Because you would need not how do you put it? So take the solar system. The entirety of the solar system, the mass of the solar system is over 99% in the sun. Everything else, every rock, planet, including Jupiter, including Saturn, the big ones, all of it summed up together is less than 1%. Now,
what if there's matter
imagine,
that is so dense,
wait,
like neutrons?
wait. Black holes, machos, dense matter, all of those have been gone through one by one in the last 50 years and kind of didn't pan out.
You know, it just feels like it's a conclusion. I've been thinking about Kepler, Newton, then Einstein. Kepler's had an observation. Newton looked into that observation, tried to find the laws that govern it, which is gravity. But Einstein didn't do that to a certain extent. He explained to us his understanding how the universe works. So it's more of his thinking more than based. But now we are reversing that. Say, okay, there's something we can see. It has.
I wouldn't say we're reversing that. I would say that what you have described is the path of exploration, right? There is something new which is observed by the observational scientist. It is described by some formalism such as a law, right? Then it is explained by a theoretical physicist. Then it is confirmed by the experimental physicist. And that's how we gain knowledge. Whenever we observe something new, or whenever research scientists, by poking sticks, find that something is behaving contrary to known laws of physics, that process is restarted in that area. So when you see that galaxies are turning faster than they should be, all of them without falling apart, well, that research scientist, which was called Vera Rubin, right, has just found a flaw in known astrophysics, in known physics. So then there must be theoretical physics. And another thing that's biasing you is that in our telling of the story, we only talk about the successes, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
we only talk about Yes, we only talk about Newtons and Einsteins and Keplers, people who have done huge contributions to like change the complete way the human race understands the universe. But there are many people who have thought outside the box, who had theories which, like I've mentioned, Lesage, right? Lesage's theory of gravitation by repulsion and by shadowing. His theory works. It follows the square root. It describes the motion of planets. It describes the motion of, like, it's at least as good as Newton's. But nobody knows his name. And not only that nobody knows his name, there are hundreds and thousands of people who have come up with hypotheses which were either fruitless, meaning they didn't give any additional predictions, or, as in Lesage's, they were conflicting with known physics, and when tested, known physics stood up, right? Like Lesage's theory kind of gave a hint of, if this theory is true, then physics should fail here. Can somebody please go check if it fails there? Oh, it didn't fail. Oh, well, then Lesage's theory is wrong. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know his name. He isn't successful or famous. He did all of the work. He just didn't win the lottery of guessing the right thing.
What's that? Trying to piece. Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to just up in hand and change the subject, but in the chat, there's a guy named Helio. He's a flat earther. He keeps saying that. Well, he asked me basically what experiment Einstein's predictions are predicted, and I told him about the eclipse, and he keeps telling me, what did he say last time? Oh, I think he was saying something about, or getting ready to say, he said it's that the eclipse had nothing to do with Einstein. I just sent him a link in the chat. I'm not really telling you guys to answer it. I just wanted you guys to know that what I am doing. So when I was quiet, it made more sense. So yeah, basically, my answer has been my question has been answered. It has everything to do with everything we know, and it's not like a farce. It's not just made up wacky land. It's taking what we know now and seeing where we can go with it further.
So, like, there are also there are many hypotheses which don't get off the ground from the start, right? Where people, scientists and non-scientists, will say, "Oh, this seems like it could explain it," but you just you don't notice that.
Yeah.
Because you're focusing on solving one problem, right? Let's say you're solving the problem of I don't know, making a better battery, and you have a hypothesis that adding something to it would make a better battery, or that understanding physics differently would make a better battery. But what you don't notice is that if your hypothesis is true, if you just followed through all of the logical necessary consequences, it would mean that gravity would have a different direction, that we would be falling upwards, that all of the planets would just fall apart, and we would be thrown into the. And then the first, that's kind of what peer review does, where you give your work to, in theoretical physics, your work to all of the other scientists, and then they ask you, right? You write up this. Well, we could increase our energy storage capacity thousands of times if my theory is correct. We should check it. And then somebody looks at this and says, you are aware that gravity would have a different direction if it were true. And and you just throw it out. You don't publish it. You don't, right? You just say, "Oh fuck, you're right," or you calculate it and you say you're right. Right? You check it and you say, "Oh yeah, right. I fucked up. I might try to fix it, but the thing as it is now is invalid. This can't be published."
Okay, you actually helped me, and that was a great segue. Thank you, Barney. I mean, that is why you are God. So, some of you, hopefully most of you, but I know not all of you, have seen a recent upload that I did. I think it was last night or the night before, really early. I'm taking the peer review.
Whose turn is it? Whose turn?
Whose turn? What?
For peer review.
Oh, well, hang on, because there's two parts of this. So, most of you guys know about the peer review process that the Truth Army does here. You know how serious we are with it. Well, I'm going to take it to the next step. And this is going to... I want this to be as serious as possible, but understand if it doesn't work, but you're so passionate about it that it does work to you and you alone, it will be that regular peer review process. But I do want to hear... A lot of people come on and on our Jose's or any other streams or in the Discord servers during regular day, not on live streams. A lot of the issue is that, for instance, a flat earther or electric universe person would say, "You're not letting me explain," or a lot of us are simply just asking questions because we don't understand. And then there are the people, for like our buddy Helio in the chat, who for some odd reason knows everything and knows exactly how everything works, but doesn't want to explain. But there are some of you out there that want to explain it. Well, if you think that your idea gives validation for a peer review, you can do it here. It will be taken seriously until you do not take the peer review process seriously, and in which case the normal peer review process will ensue. But basically what's going to end up happening is all it really is a situation where people are going to get an opportunity to present an idea, present a claim, if you like, and see where it goes when people are listening in and are going to basically pick it apart, because that basically is science in itself. That's exactly how we know things now. What's the point of this? The point of this is that there are a lot of things out there that a lot of people know, whether they be on either side, that they want to explain or gives them validation for why they believe in something. And a lot of the times in this forum, it is very difficult to go, okay, well, I think gravity works like this. And then in the middle of a conversation, someone goes, "Oh, well, how do you think gravity works?" And then suddenly you're supposed to present everything you know about it or everything you believe it to be. And that's kind of hard. So if, again, if you want to present something or you want to do a presentation on something, it's basically the invitation to do that, where you'll get the floor to yourself, be able to present. I'll help you present. If you need me to share files or do it on Discord with the live function, we'll do it that way. But yeah, basically I want to give more time to people presenting their ideas or presenting an explanation. And then basically what I end up doing is cutting it off the live stream and putting it into an upload, which will be the Truth Army peer review. But other than that, the regular peer review process, which would be more stringent, it'd be more strict, more non-bias. We're going to continue to do those, but I haven't looked at who's here today, but Davros, I will figure out who is up for peer review for the day, because we're going to start doing it every day. Okay, Helio, I noticed you chatting away in there. He says total solar eclipse only happens during a new moon phase. The moon is not visible. Show me where I am wrong. You are wrong that the moon lines up with the sun, which is why the new moon is visible and during the day. So, I mean, your question was answered, Helio. Hopefully you can understand that that's how it works. He says you cannot see the moon during a new moon phase unless it aligns with the earth and the sun. That's pretty clear. That's why it's called an eclipse and not called the new moon every time we see one. But in Helio, and I like the questions because actually this is one I looked into. You can actually prove this for yourself. You ready? Get a flashlight. A good flashlight, not a bitch flashlight, a good flashlight, one that will blind you in your face. Why? I'll tell you right now. Get a golf ball. You can hang it, put it on the table yourself, but just put it next to that flashlight. And then step back and look straight at that light, and you will notice that you will not see that golf ball. That is the new moon phase. Now, the eclipse that is explained, we understand that is the alignment of the Earth, Sun, and the Moon, and put that golf ball in line with that flashlight. Then see what happens. I'm telling you now, it's what explains a solar eclipse to a T. Now, if you got something else that's not invisible, I would love to hear it. And Helio, I am happy to hear it. Helio, you know damn well I love you. We've been friends for a long time. We get into it sometimes, but it's still fun and games. But I would love you to pass that message along and have some of your 24/7 buddies come on over so I can embarrass them on my live stream. But that's just an open invitation.
Somebody gets a black eye.
And Lemon, let's get this straight right now, Lemon. I know you're a god over there, but what I just said, you do not count. I do not consider you 24/7. Just so you know.
Well, the Celine Dion eclipse shows that there has to be another eclipser up there, like a Cortellucci cloud or something else invisible up there, possibly blocking the sun or some other mechanism. The angles don't count for the lunar eclipse, the Selenelian eclipse. Does it have the angles right for the shadow to be coming top down on the moon? You'd have to have the sun, earth, and moon in a line to have an eclipse, but the moon and the sun are above the horizon, which would make a V from the sun to the earth to the moon, so the angles don't match up. And then to make matters worse, with the Celine Dion eclipse, the shadow is coming top down when the moon should be falling into the earth's shadow, so it should be coming from the bottom up. So it has to be another eclipser up there, like Ketu and Rahu, or the black sun, or some sort of other eclipser up there.
The problem with those ones are that, and because I've heard these ones, that they invoke an invisible body up up there. I don't want to say it where, because obviously it changes. But when it comes to the and I like the way you put that, the Celine Dion eclipse, which is what I'm going to call it from now on, because I hate trying to even think about how it's pronounced. Actually, before I say that, we understand how light propagates, right? Like once it gets
most
here,
people think it's a straight line, but some people say it's like a wave in an ocean.
Well, depends on the level of fraction at the time. Well, the way that the Celine Dion eclipse works is the exact same function of that. Yes, you're right. To have a lunar eclipse, you need an alignment of the sun, earth, and the moon. The issue with what you're saying is, and this is also the reason why it's so rare. Do I say rare, Barney? Is it rare, or is it just not common? What do you say? Which one would it be considered?
Would you? There's a quib line, something like, "Would you say that U.S. elections are rare?"
Yeah, but
rare doesn't happen very young.
Well, okay, I guess you could say, 10% of lunar eclipses, this is a phenomenon that happens. And if it wasn't for, and seeing how we know how light works, we're able to make that conclusion that you're not actually seeing, which one is it? You're not seeing the moon. No, you're not seeing the sun. Wait, which one?
It depends on what's being blocked out.
Which one are you seeing there?
If the moon's being blocked out by the Earth, if it's like sun, Earth, moon, it's lunar. If the sun is being blocked out by the moon, then if it's like Earth, moon, sun, then it's solar.
Yeah, but
it depends on what's being blocked.
The lunar one, the reason why you see both is because the sun is looming or brought up due to the refraction. That's the only reason why you see that. And then,
the only problem. What was that?
I was going to say, and then the other issue would be that if in I guess a solar eclipse, to invoke things that haven't been seen means that there isn't a reason. You can't say that that's not what it is. So, for instance, some people, some people will say it's not the moon, it's not the sun, it's these different entities. It doesn't make sense to me how you would invoke something else that can't be seen. Because if it couldn't be seen, then how are you invoking it? I guess
you can see it occasionally. If you go to Subphotonic's video before his channel was taken down, you can see Ketu and Rahu overtaking the moon. One body that moves slower than the other, and another one that's overtaking the moon very quickly. So it looks like there's some sort of other body up there that you can occasionally see if the conditions are right. Also, you have Kordaluski clouds, which show dust hitting some sort of spherical object up in space or whatever you want to call it up there that normally isn't seen. It's like dust is hitting this invisible object. Look into Kordaluski clouds. And so with this paradigm in place, we may be able to interpret it as invisible bodies up there that can possibly eclipse.
Hey, Lemon,
Do you have a
maybe it's
radar return?
Maybe it's planet Nibiru or planet X instead of the sun or the moon or the planet.
Could be that too. I mean, not all of the stars are visible, you know, and there are what appear to be.
Well, hang on.
There are an invisible spectrum of light that could lead to an invisible object being up there and possibly eclipsing.
You know, I'm kind of curious since we have an excellent.
Hang on, because I wanted to ask something before when Limo was saying. Because you said that you can't see all the stars. Well, I guess that'd be the case for planets. For a long time, wasn't that something that they thought was happening, where there was a planet between, I think it's Mercury and us or something like that?
Oh yeah, Marduk, Nibiru is like beyond Pluto. I think it has like a circle 1,000 years or so.
No, in our solar system, between yes, Vulcan. Was that shown to be not possible, not there, or is that still just a situation of we can't see it? So
I don't know.
It was shown not to be there by direct observation. Like if you calculate where it would have to be using Newtonian physics, it's not there, and it was made unnecessary by general relativity.
Yeah, we would have seen it by that point. Is what it succumbed to, really, right?
So those are two different arguments for why it's not there. One, when you calculate where it is, you don't observe it there. That's one. But the other is it doesn't have to be there. There is the currently standing theory of gravity doesn't require it anymore.
Well,
general relativity.
I guess if it's been shown not to be there, then I guess you can't play what if it was there? Would it throw gravity? All the known ideas of gravity would throw it off, because that's probably what they were looking for so long.
Yes, and if there was a Jupiter-sized object between the Earth and Moon, it would also throw all of the astrophysics into a disarray and completely change. There isn't. But if there was, it would throw a huge disarray into astrophysics and physics.
Aren't they finding new planets all the time within our solar system, or not planets, close to
asteroids?
Planets? Well, there's I think they just found 2 or 3 more that are Pluto size, if not bigger.
Yeah. Well, yes.
So at that point, for instance, when I've never done this or even attempted, I don't know if anyone has, but if you did a solar system graph for, let's say, today, so we knew where the planets were today, would you be able to do a graph that demonstrated their gravitational pull along with their gravitational effects from the other bodies? Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of, and kind of not. There's way too many calculations. There's not enough computing power.
Well, here's the thing, because I remember an article that came out that was talking about Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter. And yeah, Jupiter's one of like 80 moons, right? Or is it Sat? No, it's Jupiter. Jupiter has like 79 moons or something.
They both do.
Oh, well,
they both have hundreds of moons.
Yeah, but only one of them is recently been. All these moons are coming up now, as of recently. Pretty sure it's Jupiter.
It depends on what you consider a moon, right? Every grain of dust orbiting the planet is that planet's moon.
Okay, well then these are large enough to be named, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, cataloged, yes.
Yeah, so...
How big do they have to be named?
We have recently, over the course of the past 2 years, found 3 new moons of the Earth.
So...
Yeah, we have a new these days.
And we have some semi-moons, stuff that kind of spends time in the vicinity of the Earth, orbiting the Earth for a while, and then its motions throw it out, and then it orbits the Sun for a while, and then a couple of decades later it comes back to the Earth and orbits the Earth for a while.
So I guess in a sense, there needs to be something large enough to give question. No, because all it would do is signify that there's something out there that wasn't there. Well, no. If they found... No, they would see it. See, damn it.
Maybe something out there that we haven't seen. What is it? The Apollo 10 lunar module orbited the Sun for a while, and I think it's coming back into Earth orbit here soon.
Huh? Wait, the one that... and it blows off after they're done or something?
No, the Apollo 1, the one that never landed on the moon, that was just sent as the first experiment.
Oh.
They didn't land it, they were just testing whether they could get it to there, and then they shut it off into space.
Wait, is that something that will be ever seen again? I think someone said...
They just spotted it. Or they think they just spotted it.
I heard NASA classified Elon Musk's car as a moon.
Hey, Sean. I was just over on YouTube, and I couldn't hear anything on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they just spotted it.
I think it's
fixed
Barney,
now. When you get a chance, I got a question.
Oh, okay. I think when I clicked over to show the pictures. Yeah, when I clicked over to show the pictures, I think that's what happened.
I got you. And by the way, hello.
My bad, Helio. I just saw you in there. My bad. Apologize. I am not the best when it comes to getting you guys verified. You're good to go, Helio. I apologize, my friend.
The question that I had a while ago that I was kind of waiting to ask is, if we have an excellent explanation for solar and lunar eclipses, why are we coming up with all these convoluted stories by objects that we can't verify or anything? If you've got a couple of moons up there, shoot me a radar off of it and tell me it's there. If not, I've got a good reason for those eclipses.
Yeah, because if they're invisible, but they're there to make an eclipse, like you're saying, Dr. Bob, you should be able to, even though you can't see it, you should be able to bounce something off of it, because it has to be physical to be able to do that. Ooh, physical obstruction. Ain't that a bitch?
Yet we have a perfectly valid explanation for both solar and lunar eclipses that allow us to predict it to the minute.
If we're not seeing the object, wouldn't that imply that light rays and other ray propagation would just pass right through it potentially? Just saying. No. If we're not seeing it appears light's passing on some level.
Absolutely not. It's a made-up fabrication.
Well, you can see it
does not exist.
You can see it overtaking Ketu and Rahu overtaking the moon in the video that
That's
I posted.
lens flare.
On top of that,
Weren't these predictions made?
Is unsatisfactory because you
lens
have
flare.
warm conditions over by the sun where you have upward refraction, and cooler conditions
Don't
by the
give a
moon
crap,
also
Lemon.
leading to upward refraction, making your explanation of refraction for the Celine Dion eclipse very unsatisfactory.
I don't care
I
if
don't
you're
think the
satisfied with it or
selenium
not. It works
is
just fine.
necessarily has to be.
Doesn't work because you have two different conditions leading to the same type of refraction that's ad hoc and unsatisfactory.
Yet there it is. Yet there it is and predictable.
I'm watching we're watching your videos, Lemon. The moon or whatever's on the top, I could see is something, but everything that they keep circling is just glare. Like the what do you call those things up when cameras do that?
Lens flare.
Yeah, there's just little flare
Did
things.
you guys see that video from the top?
Yeah, one lens flare is moving faster than the other.
Illinois.
Is that the one that I think?
One lens flare is moving faster than the other.
Do you have a radar return, Lemon? Do you have a radar return, Lemon?
No.
All right, I got one
return,
from the moon,
like a
so
speed
thanks.
gun, like a speed gun or shit. Or
no, like a radar return from the moon. I got a radar return of the moon. Where's his radar return from these imaginary bodies? Where's his radar return from his lens flare? Till he can produce that, I'll stick with the moon.
Or what would make these invisible things visible?
You'd have to look at the spectrum that they're in.
Well, that's
you'd have to have an object that can see the spectrum that they're giving off, and then color code it for your eyes.
But
and what spectrum is that?
To confirm if they are there.
It has to be in this spectrum because we're seeing it during these eclipses, right?
It looks like
it's a spectrum for it?
We could try infrared. We could try different spectra out and get something that can sense the spectra and color code it.
Has anyone ever recorded an eclipse in infrared? Is that a thing?
Well,
yes.
You know, as far as the spectra goes, I mean, isn't that a waveform? And I mean, talk about the distance. You know, I mean, from Earth to the moon, that's pretty far. I mean, you'd have to have a pretty powerful, you know, whatever you're shooting at the moon that's 250,000 miles away and to receive a signal back. It has to be pretty powerful. Now, but other than that, I mean, we're talking about eclipses. And what I was talking about in the chat is like during a solar eclipse, right before the solar eclipse, the moon disappears. I mean, you can't find it. You can't find it at night. You can't find it during the day. No matter what spectrum of light you use, any type of telescope, the only way you can ever see it is when it begins to supposedly eclipse the sun, right?
Well,
You can't see it in any spectrum.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Hang on, Helio. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Have you made an observation in every spectrum of light?
No, but other people have.
So no. You said it right there. No, so you can't make that claim.
All right. So during a new moon phase, even when it's not an eclipse, during a new moon phase, they can't find the moon.
But see, no, they know where the moon is.
What do you mean they can't find the moon?
Well, they can't detect the moon. They can predict where it might appear again because of the phases.
No, you can bounce the signal off of it during the day, during the new moon cycle. You can do that.
Seen visibly.
But the thing is that. But here's the thing. I gave an example of exactly you can do this right now. Get a flashlight, turn it on, get in front of it. Put a golf ball right next to the bright light. You won't see it. Put the ball right in front of the flashlight. You're gonna see it. That is exactly. I mean, and that's an experiment to test if that is possible, like it's explained.
That's not the moon, though.
It is.
No, it's not.
Okay, well, then what is it?
Dude, if I can tell you what the moon is, I'd get the Pulitzer Prize.
Okay, so what if the explanation for an eclipse works further than your explanation does? Why does it not work? What part of it doesn't work?
Well, didn't eclipses work long before the heliocentric model? I mean, they predicted them. You know.
Well, the problem.
Lunar.
We have a problem because no experiment has proved that the Earth moves one jot or one tittle. So there's that as well. How is the Earth moving to cause eclipses when no experiment has proved that the Earth moves?
Then how do satellites? What are satellites orbiting? How are
The only
satellites
thing that would
geocentric
change about
satellites?
We're talking about the moon and the sun. Satellites is a different discussion.
Satellites is the same thing. We're talking about the moon.
Sean,
what
please.
is the moon orbiting? What controls the moon's circuit?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. What do you think?
The Earth. Earth and Earth and the moon are orbiting each other. Thank you, Barney.
Well, sure they are. I mean that's your story.
No. It's sciences. It's not just a story. It has not only been explained to me, it has been shown to me.
How? Who showed you that the moon is orbiting the Earth?
God. My God.
Are you talking?
No, I'm just kidding. No. Helio.
I know. I'm just
Barney. It was a while ago. He did a model that with putting in all the sciences calculations, and showed how the moon and the Earth, or how the moon orbits Earth, and not only that, but how the Earth is actually orbiting the moon as well. And I'll have the stream if I can find it really quick. But yeah, that's like verifying
the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars have been. These predictions have been made for
I'm so
of years,
glad
right?
you mentioned the Saros cycle. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, sure, yeah.
Great. All right. So you acknowledge the Saros cycle exists.
Yeah, sure. For thousands of years.
So you admit the Saros cycle.
Explain the Saros cycle real quick.
Hang on.
Okay, yeah.
So you admit the Saros cycle exists.
Well, I mean, I'm not the expert on it, but yeah, I mean.
Okay, great. You have just admitted that the moon is in orbit around the spherical Earth, which is in orbit around the sun.
There's a
Saros cycle.
There's a cycle
of
there.
3 different cycles. It consists of the perigee to perigee orbital time of the moon. The moon is orbiting around the Earth, and you've already admitted it.
To predict. So what you're saying is to predict.
No, hang on, Sean. The Saros cycle has that perigee to perigee orbit. It has the new moon to new moon orbit, which again is the orbit of the moon around a spherical Earth. And then it has the phase to phase orbit. All 3 of those combine to form the Saros cycle. How long is the Saros cycle?
You tell me. I don't.
18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours.
Excellent.
Well, what's
all right? How many Saros cycles are we undergoing right now?
Do I hear 3? Do I hear 4? Do I hear 4? And I said 5. I think we're at 5, Dr. Bob.
You're right. You would be wrong. We're undergoing 40 Saros cycles right now.
I don't know what a Saros cycle is, though.
The Saros cycle is the cycle of the eclipses. Now, what they do is they describe eclipses of similar geometry and the path of totality on Earth for the solar eclipses. But by admitting the Saros cycle, helioskeptic, Mister, I'm going to have Bob banned all the time from my little chat room.
Don't worry, Dr.
Right?
Bob. I'm banned just because of who I am.
I understand that, but you've already admitted the Saros cycle, which means that you admit the spherical and Earth and the orbit of the moon and the orbit of the Earth around the sun, because that's what the Saros cycle is, Sonny.
Well, but what I'm saying is like the obvious.
You're saying that the Earth is
when we look across
and the moon is
Earth,
orbiting it.
And we see the Earth, and they give us a number for the Earth and why we see it flat. How to explain the heavens? Yeah, sure, the mathematics could work out. If
it does work out exactly within 7 hours.
It could work out with a flat Earth too.
Okay, go ahead.
You think it doesn't?
Hang on. Well, here's the thing, because that's what I was going to ask, and I'm actually glad Dr. Bob brought that up, because it actually correlates exactly with my question. What keeps the moon? Forget the sun for a second. What keeps the moon above the Earth? What keeps it from falling? What keeps it from going away? What makes it do the rotation above it? And I asked that question because the globe that rotates, these things are explained and they work. And here's the thing: they work from that scale to, thank you, Barney, again, to the lighter in my hand that I drop. Gravity works the same. That's what keeps the moon in our orbit. That's what keeps this Earth on its orbit. And well, that's the thing.
You know, Sean, I got one last thing to say to this piece of shit.
Relax, Bob.
All right. I am
but
so
relax,
goddamn
relax.
tired.
You gotta relax. You gotta relax. Gotta relax. Relax.
I am
Say
so
it.
goddamn tired of listening to these flurfs repeat crap that they hear on a YouTube channel, like the Saros cycle. They think that answers all their questions. They don't even know what it fucking is.
And how the Saros cycle is described and predicted is on a rotating Earth, right?
It's a combination of it comes from a very deep understanding of the orbit of the moon around the Earth.
Okay.
And it combines between 230 and 260 cycles of those orbits.
Predicted.
But I heard that word in Globebusters. I heard that word in Globebusters. He must be right.
Yeah, they like to put this stuff out.
But
there's extrapolated.
The other day
from,
we had that
predicted
flurfon that tried to call me on the inverse square law. Didn't even know what it was. Thought a square was a geometric object.
Yeah. Dr. Bob,
I know the inverse square law.
You were
great. If you've got 1,000
so nice
lumens per square foot at 5 feet, how many lumens do you have on that same square foot at 10 feet?
So 5 feet. Well, it's what 4 times, right? 4 times as much.
You tell me. What is it? How many lumens are on that square foot at 10 feet? I rest my case. Good night, guys.
Have a good night, Dr. Bob. Thank you. Well, here's the question that I wanted to ask, this is exactly what did it. I just explained. I rattled off a few things.
A quarter. The answer is a quarter.
Yeah, it's 250. You can't square 2.
Sean?
I know,
yes.
Barney. This stuff gives me ulcers. Doesn't it give you ulcers? That the amount of ignorance that's out there.
I'm falling asleep, and I just wanted to wish you all good night.
Hey, by the way,
don't fall asleep.
Take 24/7 and shove it up your ass, Helio. All right.
Don't fall asleep yet, but don't leave yet,
because
buddy.
I'm answering rhetorical questions about what the square of 2 is.
No, don't leave, Barney. I have a serious question for you.
Who was asking a serious question?
Maxwell.
Wait, I got a calculator.
Hey,
I can work
Maxwell,
out the 2 squared for you, Barney.
I'm not sure I'll be able to answer it, but go ahead.
Well, I guess it would be just in your thought on the time frame, or if it exists yet. So just to cut to the chase, I'm not going to waste a bunch of time on. So they say anti-gravity, right? So we got gravity. Then there's theoretical anti-gravity, just like there's theoretical antimatter. But they know that antimatter exists because they can produce it. But you can say, when do you think that they're going to be able to come up with anti-gravity, so-called anti-gravity, and utilize it for like a aircraft, not utilizing thrust from chemical compositions or buoyancy from gases or aircraft high pressure system.
It will be about the same time they introduced the graviton.
There's a great ongoing experiment at CERN right now, which is testing gravitational effects of antimatter, which is literally taking antiprotons and anti-electrons, combining them into anti-hydrogen, and then sticking that anti-hydrogen in a vacuum tube and checking whether it will fall or it will rise.
Do you got any links? Can you share any links?
Damn it. I have to look it up, but I don't have it here. You can go to CERN's site and look up the list of ongoing projects, and it's Gaia something, or like you will have short descriptions and look at the ones related to antimatter. and there will
Cool,
be
thanks.
gravitational tests of antimatter, but it's an ongoing one. They don't have any results yet, not conclusive or inconclusive. They're just doing observations right now. But yeah, as for anti-gravity, I don't think it would exist or work. Just based on current understanding, it would have to be some completely new physics. Like, I understand where the idea comes from. It's easy to imagine. It's like if magnets can attract one way and repulse each other the other way, then gravity, which attracts, might have a way in which it repulses. But that's kind of missing the entire point of any of the explanations of what gravity is. It's just a vacant what if at the moment. But what ifs are valid if we don't know. And for this, we genuinely don't know, which is why they're testing it. Okay.
Go to bed.
Good night, people. Thank you for letting me monologue. And thanks for your patience. See you some other time.
Yes, thank you, Barney. I appreciate it.
Be safe.
What I was saying before is that in Monday, Tuesday. What day did I stream? Fuck. Let's say today's Thursday. Tuesday when I streamed, we did the models. We were discussing not the globe model isn't one model. It is there's a million of these things. It all depends on what you're trying to apply it to. But the thing that I wanted to preface last stream, and that I was trying to preface in this explanation, is that whether it be an eclipse, just the orbits of planets, or just say the ones that I understand the best would be the Earth and the Moon, just in those orbits that explain so much and verify so much doesn't happen for flat Earth. And that was one of the things that frustrated me at the end of my flat Earth run. It was literally the fact that I could take a situation, you can make one situation work. Just tweak it here, tweak it there, forget about one thing there, forget about one thing here. But what it always came to me is that it only goes so far, and it never works with anything else. We discussed eclipses. Well, those eclipses also make sense to the orbiting. That orbiting makes sense to the gravity that keeps them in the orbit. I mean, all these things encompass questions when you're trying to figure out how your flat Earth works, but you're never running these questions into a it doesn't work filter. It's very rare that I've heard someone tell me something and then a month later they say something different that would actually correlate more with an observation. It's invisible. It's not going to work unless you just believe it. Well, if it wasn't, if we were talking about something that we both had to just believe, I could give it validity. But when we start having things that we can observe ourselves, myself, then that's when these conversations start going differently. Because when we're talking about an eclipse, now, if you want to talk about the Celine Dion eclipse, as Lemon calls it, we can talk about it. And you can refute that it only happens 10% of the lunar eclipses that occur. But then if you want to talk about that, then let's talk about how light propagates, how the horizon, and why things seem to rise above it during these magnifying or these miraging situations. But all these things, again, well, next step, they still work. They still are explained in correlation with any other topic you want to do. That was the biggest problem I had with flat Earth. 10 things, none of them work together.
The biggest problem I have with globe Earth is that there's no fucking goddamn curvature.
Yeah, there's lots of curvature. It starts at your feet. Now, the explanation for it is given very clearly, whether or not you want to add an invisible being to that, or you want to give an unexplainable reason, that's fine. But it was explained for me. I understand it.
All right, so you understand the entire argument about that we can't find any.
No, I don't understand the entire argument. I understand the entire understanding of what the horizon is, why we see things on the horizon the way we do, where the horizon is in relation to myself.
You do, Sean.
I absolutely do.
I don't think you do.
I 100%.
So you do understand what the horizon is.
Absolutely.
The horizon is the curvature of the Earth.
No.
It's not.
Nope. Like I said, curvature starts at your feet.
All right, so you're standing on top of the ball everywhere you're standing on Earth.
You're standing on Earth, and there's curvature everywhere.
Yeah, once you start looking somewhere, the ball is moving away. If there was no atmosphere, then if you're looking straight ahead at something, even if there was no atmosphere, you see something, but it's actually down. But you're not looking down; you're looking at, like, straight ahead at something, like a horizontal line from your eyesight.
That makes you think the Earth is really big, eh?
Yeah, look. Well,
okay.
The Earth is really big. I mean, none of us deny that.
Well,
the Earth is really big.
Then let's entertain this. If it's not curvature, why do boats disappear bottom up?
Because do they? Have you ever seen one do that?
Yes. But Jose shared them. I got the opportunity to see one with Travis, or the Plain Truth, and then Daz of the Cameraman. I think Soundly probably maybe done one or two.
How about this? Have you ever seen one move towards you and you've seen it just appear first?
You mean
maybe flat earthers haven't discovered
wait,
water?
Wait, I asked a question. I want someone to answer.
How would that
Have
be
you ever seen
possible?
the boat come towards you and you've seen the top first?
No, I haven't got one. I haven't got one myself. I got a going away, but I haven't got one coming to me.
Jose, understand this. To catch one, that means that you have to aim your camera at nothing, and then a boat appear in your camera sights.
No, you have to know where it's coming in.
True,
to shore.
That's true. But that's
check out shipping lanes, and you can check a barge or whatever.
What's the difference between it? Why does it have to be coming to me? Why can't it be going away from me and do the same thing?
Do you think you would ever catch that at night?
If there's enough light, yeah, absolutely. If better yet,
they're just going to have lights on the ship.
If a ship did had one of those, like if people go to the desert, your whips that have the lights on them, it's like a whip that's lit up all the way. It's basically a flag that the pole's lit up on it.
Well,
if a boat had that, you would absolutely see it.
The only reason that we bring this up is because there's light in the background. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do this at night. Ships disappear over the curved bottom first.
No.
I mean, you're going to see. If you did it at nighttime, if it was moving away from you, you're going to see. You won't even be able to see the ship. You'll just see the light on the ship, and then you're just going to see it disappear. Right. So you have to do it at daytime you can.
Hang on, wait, Maxwell. You
can do it in infrared. Has anyone ever done that?
You know what a whip is, then, Maxwell, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, but boats have these things called anti-collision lights.
Yes,
and they're way up on the top of the mast. Sometimes 20, 30 feet up in the air.
So, Maxwell, what you're saying is at night, those lights, you'd be able to see them with a camera.
Yeah, you should be.
Yes, Helio, you could do the same. You could do the same test at night. So at night and during the day,
all you'll see is the light, not the ship.
Mm-hmm. You'll see the lights disappear.
I know, bro. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. The only reason you see the ship during the daytime is because the background is lit.
No, you'd be able to. Okay, if they had a tower of lights, so 10 lights on top of each other and stacked, you would see each light. If you zoomed in, you would see each light disappear from the bottom to the top of those lights.
Dude, exactly. That's angular resolution, man. Thank you for explaining.
No, because then you would see 10 lights getting smaller until became one light.
Yeah. It's angular resolution.
No. It would do it from.
Well, actually, it would 10 lights would start to obscure, but if you had a telescope or a high-powered camera.
Here's the thing: the 10 lights, instead of going 10 from the bottom, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, missing. If it was flat, what it would do is 10 lights would evenly get smaller until appeared to be only one light as it vanished into the air.
I
but it wouldn't do
doubt
it.
that.
But it
I
wouldn't do
seriously
it.
doubt that. No one's ever done that, so I seriously doubt. What
You're right, because when boats go out into the ocean at night, what we see, or during the day, what we see is disappearing from the bottom up. We do not see what I just described. But if you look at a plane, planes at 30, 40,000 feet, they do what I just explained, where they disappear. Even their size evenly gets smaller from every direction until it becomes a dot, and poof, you can't see it. Boats don't do that.
True.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely true.
Well, airplanes, yeah, because there's no ground.
Yeah, they're not on the ground.
Standing on the ground. I mean, just like
when you're 30,000 feet
different
up,
when you're looking across. When you're looking
you
across
see
the flat
further
surface than if you're looking at something in the sky.
Because something at 30,000 feet doing the same direction as a boat, you see it longer, and there's not enough curvature at that point at 30,000 feet because of how large the Earth is for it to disappear bottom up. That's why when it goes that far away at some point, it does disappear into a small dot. But there's no ground to obstruct bottom up. But again, what ruins that whole argument is that airplane doesn't disappear bottom up. Because when I say a boat disappears bottom up, you say perspective.
Well, an airplane, I mean, it's fucking 30,000 feet above the.
Yeah. But you say
it's just already a dot before it hits.
If it's not obstruction,
the horizon,
if it's not obstruction for a boat, what is it?
Obstruction. Well, I mean, it's condensed. It's condensed angular. It's angular resolution. I mean, the ground ramps up, and the way that our eyes work, it doesn't. It just compresses. It's compression of angular view.
Okay, if it was compressing, then we would see all of the boat. It's just in a compressed image, but we would see the whole. Yes, you would.
See, you just don't get it, man.
Really? I can show you right now. Matter of fact,
show me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Show me.
Right away. I'm loading it up. It's going to be in Discord live stream chat in half a second. The problem with what you're saying is that I actually do try to verify and figure these things out. So I went, what the fuck would one of these oil platforms look like if I broke them down? So I did everything. I cropped and showed an image of a platform that is in full detail. No obstruction, or no refracted or miraging happening at all. Then next to it is a compressed platform. The second platform is literally has everything that you see, and the one next to it, the first one, everything. There's nothing missing. There is nothing being obstructed. It's only compressed, and that's what you're saying the boat does. So no matter what, you would have to show me how compression then obstructs, because it doesn't obstruct. It only compresses. Something needs to be obstructing it now. What is obstructing it?
Compression would eventually obstruct them.
That's a part of it. I mean, it depends on the atmosphere as well. I mean, the angular compression toward the limit of your angular view can combined with the atmosphere and ocean waves and everything, especially if you're looking over the ocean, you can you could have a wave that's 10 feet tall, and you're at a you're standing on the beach, that's above your. There's so many factors that you can't actually confirm all of that.
Okay, what if I have all the data that does confirm? If I show you a picture right now, I can show you that.
You can't.
Really?
No.
Okay. I'm going to show you a picture, Helio, of me and a flat earther making observations of platforms and ships. And I'm going to give you the data for it now. We're standing at 18 feet above sea level. The platforms were 9 miles away. The other set of platforms were 11 miles away. The ships that we saw were 21 miles away, and they were being obstructed. So when you do bring data into it, it does matter. When you bring data into it, it makes it so you can actually explain what's happening, not just say. Because I can tell you right now, I've seen all these observations. I've gone on. Then after the observations, I've taken the pictures, and like I did the pictures you see here, all those platforms. Those are all the same platform. That first picture, the first platform, is all the other four, just with different effects, different optics.
Now, are you talking about that one you just posted?
Yep. If you click on it, you'll see there's 5 of them. The first one is the only one that has no distortion, no miraging. Next, and again, all these are the same. That number 1, I manipulated these, but gives you the same effect. The second one is the compressed image. In that, you see every piece of the platform that you see in the first one, except that it's just compressed. It's not obstructing. Nothing is missing now that it's going to be compressed. The next one is it towering. That's it stretching. Nothing's missing. It's just stretched now. The next one is just distortion. I found a distortion one. So that's just distortion. Distortion, there's no obstructing. Everything's there, just really distorted. Now, the fifth one,
the same shit on all 5 of them.
Yeah. Right? And the fifth one is another type of, like the heat waves that you see from a distance. That's the same thing. The thing is, it's distorted. They're bending.
There's no information there, about. You said it was 18 feet. How far
observation
away was that platform?
This platform was 9 miles away. 9 miles from 18 feet. At 18 feet observer or elevation.
What are you actually trying to say? I mean, why did you send 5
easy.
No data?
I have data. I'm telling you it, and I can show it to you as well. But I asked you a simple question of what obstructs boats, and you said it's not curvature. So I asked you what it was, and you said pretty much it was the angler's resolution, and all those things are explained why a plane and how a plane disappears. But obstruction, when in that, there is nothing that explains obstruction in angular resolution.
How the fuck are you comparing you being 18 feet, observer height, to a plane that's 30,000 feet, 200 miles away, when this one's 9 miles away from you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, because you're a dumbass.
No,
nobody would do that.
I literally just explained myself very well
for
you because I have to explain it this way. These things, when I'm explaining with a plane and a boat, are very simple. First of all, angular resolution has nothing to do with anything obstructing. I don't know where you got that from, but when you say it, people laugh.
I don't care if they laugh at me.
Don't sit there and act like I'm some kind of dumbass. I have sat here and explained things to you very nicely. I wasn't disrespectful to you. Just because you're upset because you don't have an argument against it doesn't mean you have to talk to me that way.
No, I do. I've
been nothing but respectful.
I'm sorry for calling you dumbass. I apologize. But seriously, there is at a certain, when you're looking 90 degrees across a plane, there is an angular compression that does affect your view.
Relative to the surface, relative to the limiting surface below your feet, there is a compression.
There is no limiting surface and there is no compression. Knock that shit off. Now, tell me about this angular size, this resolution limit that you're talking about, please.
Relative to the surface, things are compressing very quickly since you have a 6 foot surface.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit, Lemon. Give me some proven science.
All right. Is there a difference between the way that you see something when you look 90 degrees angular to a flat surface, or when you look straight up, 180 degrees straight up?
In terms of angular resolution, there's absolutely no difference. Absolutely none.
The limiting surface, yes, there is.
Oh my God!
There's no effect on it.
This fucking
absolutely no effect on it.
See, this is where the problem is.
Every effect.
Explain angular resolution. Explain to me the Rayleigh criterion, please. Can you do that off the top of your head?
Hey, give me a break, Lemon. Go for it, man.
The Rayleigh criteria, you're talking about the diffraction limit of light. There's an angle beyond which it's very hard to discern objects. Objects tend to merge into one when the light rays coming from the objects are too close together. So basically, with the horizon, you have light rays that are so closely sandwiched together, they're smushing into one and giving you a horizon line. You have a limiting surface beneath your feet that's converging up, and everything from your eye line up is converging down and sandwiching into that surface.
Not a bit of that horse shit appears in the Rayleigh criterion, Lemon. Not a bit of it. Tell me about the Rayleigh criterion. That's the diffraction. That's the limit.
The diffraction limit, yes. When the light rays are too close together, they appear to merge into one, and you can no longer discern two different light rays. They just merge into one, and you interpret one light ray when really it's two.
Exactly. It has absolutely nothing to do with which direction you're looking.
Or
You have
obstruction.
to
It has nothing to do with it.
apply it to the horizon. You have a light ray coming from the top of your vision and a coming from the bottom of your vision, sandwiching up at the horizon line. They're going to get so close together, sandwiching together, smush into one, and you're just going to see a line. You just got to apply it to the horizon.
Lemon, when the lights.
The Rayleigh criterion, please.
Yeah, because you're still not explaining. Big problem is can you, when you do explain it, can you please explain where obstruction is involved in that as well?
Well, something that's taller than the sandwich compressed zone is just going to have to sandwich beyond and appear to be obstructed when it's not really obstructed. It's just setting beyond and compressing beyond.
Then what if I'm?
You only have
I just want to point out, if I may,
what if the observer is above sea level?
Listen,
please show me the bologna sandwich compressed zone in the Rayleigh criterion.
Yeah,
where the hell is this?
It's at the horizon. You have light rays coming from the top of your vision down, from the bottom of your vision up. They're sandwiching at the horizon line.
There is no bologna sandwich, damn it.
You're so full of shit, bro. Anyone with any intellectual honesty know that if there was no
full of shit. Are you out of your mind, dude?
Yeah, that's the
Are
thing.
you out of your mind?
Here's the problem. At least Blue is trying to explain something and can explain something. Full of shit would be saying no without any explanation. Blue is not doing that.
No. I'm going to explain it right now. If you weren't on a flat plane, you were just like in a virtual nothing, and you had something right in front of your face, and you move it far away, then it would reduce in angular size.
Yes.
Would it not?
Yep.
And then it would reduce. It farther it moves away from you, then you wouldn't be able to see it anymore.
Oh, perfect. Yep. Okay. Where's obstruction involved
now?
Oh, you're wrong about that too.
So you wouldn't be able to see it?
No. So you're doing okay. Yeah. I rushed myself into asking my question.
He actually just said that you would be able to see it forever.
No,
is that what you're?
Yes, you actually can if it's bright enough.
Oh well. Now you're really getting
I'm talking about just like virtual light everywhere. You're just floating in the middle of nothing, and you have something right in front of your face. I mean, it could be a fucking Rubik's cube, and then it moves away from you until you can't see it anymore. Right?
What for the unaided eye? How far away would that be? What size would that be?
Well, it depends on how big it is, right? It would reduce in angular size until you couldn't see it anymore.
What is that angular size? What is the Rayleigh criterion for the human eye?
Christ.
What would the angular size limit be?
Listen, it would be 0.02
Are you trying to give me a got you, man? I don't have to fucking know the formula to know I can't see something from so far away.
That criterion doesn't say you can't see it. It says you can't resolve any details. What it says.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. You can't resolve it because of the angular size of it. Yes, of course.
You take the tangent of 0.02 degrees, and it should equal the height of the object divided by the distance of the object.
No. I'm talking about in free space. I'm talking
about by the distance of the object roughly.
Directly away from you. It'll get so small you can't see it anymore.
Okay.
Now, if you took some binoculars, you might be able to get some of it, and then you took something a little bit more powerful, you'd be able to. Binoculars, telescopes, they work the same kind of way like a microscope does.
Exactly.
All right. Exactly. So now the transfer, like you're in free space, and then it just gets too far away to see, and then you can't resolve it anymore.
That's right.
And so put yourself on a flat level plane, no atmosphere or whatever. You have a
white
who's
board.
The guy that's talking
right?
to me? Is it the Bill? Is it Bill or who's the
Big Blue
Southern guy that's talking to me right
Big Blue.
now?
It's Big Blue.
Big Blue. Yeah. I said Bill, but I was close. Anyway, I'm Southern too. Anyway, so I'm standing on a flat virtual plane. I have 1,000-foot tower 1,000 miles away from me. That's 100 miles wide on a virtual flat plane. Would I be able to see that with my naked eye?
I think you probably can, and you want me to no, but not on the actual Earth, on a flat plane.
Yeah, I'm just talking about a virtual, just 1,000-foot tower made out of blocks.
Helio, if
me
you
personally
click,
standing on that plane,
Helio,
1,000
if
miles
you click
away,
on my live link right now, I have a virtual flat plane with a 100-foot tower that's 300 foot wide. If you click on that
no, I
live
said
link,
1,000-foot tower.
Okay, well, I can make it 1,000. I mean, it's literally
make a 1,000-foot tower.
Okay.
1,000 miles away from the observer, no atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Make it 100 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think you guys could see it from there? If you were the observer standing on that flat virtual
plane? Yeah, I can see. I can see my virtual tower right now.
Hey, Helio.
See, this is why I can't
since you can't really figure this out
what are you
really
talking
well,
about?
let me see if I can help you a little bit. Why don't you let me help you here a little bit, Helio?
You're not going to help me with shit because you guys are so dumb. You can't even figure.
All right.
Well,
have a look at the three pictures.
Flat virtual plane. Flat virtual plane. Somebody's posting like globes and shit on here.
Helio,
focus.
If you have two lights a certain distance apart, if that distance is greater than the Rayleigh criteria, how many lights do you see? Helio?
How many lights do you see? I mean,
if you have two lights that are more than the Rayleigh criteria apart, how many lights do you see? Do you see one light, or do you see two
Rayleigh
lights?
Criteria formula memorized.
You don't have to memorize it. I'm giving it to you. I'm telling you outright.
You guys think you can see 1,000-foot tower?
Helio, focus, Helio.
That's your scenario. You took the atmosphere out. You took everything out of it. Yes, you could. You wanted to have real world conversation?
Helio?
But you're wrong.
Focus, Helio. Focus, Helio. If you have two lights that are greater than the Rayleigh criteria apart, you don't need to know what it is. I'm telling you outright that it is more than the Rayleigh criteria. Do you see one light?
Christmas lights?
Or two?
Are they Christmas lights or just regular lights?
Try and
focus. You
focus.
have to dumb it down a little bit for me, man. It was like you keep saying the Rayleigh criteria. I mean, what exactly are you explaining?
Do you know what the Rayleigh criteria is? I'm not asking for a number. I'm asking if you know what the concept is. Do I need to have Lemon explain it to you?
Probably. I'm kind of not
all right.
About that right
yeah, you're okay. We got you. Not a problem.
Can I answer, Bob?
Help. No, we're here to help Helio.
The Rayleigh criteria means. Just thinking about it, because I mean, we think about all kinds of shit all the time.
The Rayleigh criteria means that the objects are far enough apart that you can tell the difference between two lights and one light. Okay. If two lights are within the Rayleigh criteria apart, they appear to you as one light. Now, if you have two lights and they are 1,000 miles apart or 1,000 miles away and they're far enough apart that you see both lights because they are over the Rayleigh criteria. You understand that, right? Now, if I move them together until they're below the Rayleigh criteria apart, how many lights do you see?
Dude, you're really bad at explaining this, man.
Anybody else have a problem following me?
I'm getting it.
Yeah, you just really.
John gets it. Hey, Blue.
I'm just thinking about.
Is this kind of making sense to you, Blue?
Yeah, he's probably taking a break.
Bob, I think we're having problem trying to resolve this. Does that sound?
Yeah, that would be a great term to use. Let me see whether or not maybe that'll work. Helios, if you have two lights that are greater than the Rayleigh criteria apart, you can resolve them as two separate lights, okay? If they are less than the Rayleigh criteria apart, you can't resolve the difference between the two lights and they look like one light. Got it?
Okay, Bob, just
I
get to
get
the
it
point.
now.
What's
Yeah,
the
yeah, you know.
distance? What's the
I looked
distance
I
on
see
the
Wikipedia
criteria?
article now.
What is the
One
distance?
1 minute of
Yeah,
angle.
like I said, you're really bad at explaining it. So
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can do better. These cows are small. Those cows are far away. Okay.
Near.
So
Far.
So you understand that
Right.
if you have two lights that are 1,000 miles away and they're far enough apart, you can resolve them as two lights. If you move them a little closer together to the point they're under the Rayleigh criteria, can you resolve them as two lights, or do you just see one light?
It would, you know, from what this says, you would resolve it as one light.
Great. So you can see it 1,000 miles away on a flat plane.
Yeah, but
Thank
that's
you,
two
and welcome
lights.
to
I'm talking
reality.
about one tower 1,000 miles away.
All right.
Is it bright enough to be able to be seen?
You can't see it unless it's backlit. Listen.
How far away are the stars?
They're up higher and at a wider angle. The problem, Bob, is you're
How
not talking
far
about
away
the
are the
surface.
stars?
This is why me and Bob get into this bullshit.
Well, you see, the
he's
reason-
like, I was talking about one source, and he's talking about two sources.
Because you brought up the Rayleigh criteria without knowing what they were.
I didn't say anything about the Rayleigh criteria.
Okay. Now you see, you may wonder why
It's
I'm
your
so hard on you, Helios. It's because you run a cowardly server with a bunch of cowardly mods.
Oh, now he's just attacking the server. He's not talking
Helio,
directly to
Helio,
me.
And I've been
you-
waiting. I tried contacting you, but you wouldn't respond. So now that I caught you in the open, I'm going to humiliate you.
Because you do this bullshit
Calm
every time
down,
you go on
Bob.
there. You talk about something we're not talking about, and then
trust me,
try to get
they're
you a
not the only
gotcha
one they do that
on
shit to.
somebody.
Well, hang on.
I understand,
Helio,
but
hang
I
on,
got
hang on.
him now.
Yeah, hang on. Well, trust me.
You didn't get me
you
shit,
trust
man.
me,
You just
Dr.
talked about
Bob,
something I wasn't
trust
talking
me,
about.
I'm sure you already know. Raise your bar here. You want better. Anyway, Helio, you really the reason we're talking about the Rayleigh criteria because you invoked it in why boats disappear bottom up, and Blue tried to explain this to you. Dr. Bob tried to explain it to you. I tried to explain it to you, and Lemon explained what this was. You tried to explain what it was, and the realization of it is, and in nobody's explanations, the Flat Earth side and the globe, no one said one thing about obstruction. I asked, why do boats disappear bottom up? There needs to be a reason besides the way we see, because the way we see is explained even in that situation.
I was actually trying
relative to the limiting surface, you're meeting the Rayleigh criteria relative to the limiting surface beneath your feet, and anything that's taller is setting beyond. Appearing to be obstructed, but it's just an appearance. You can't see through the ground to see if it's actually raising or lowering, or just converging at your eye line due to the Rayleigh criteria.
What did you say?
Take a breath. Take a breath.
You just said we can't see through the ground.
Yeah, you need to see below the ground. The ground would have to be see-through to validate your theory.
That's
Otherwise,
definitely
you're
not true, Lemon.
expecting
No,
that it's
man,
going
you're messing
below
up the whole-
something when it could be just converging beyond.
Jesus Christ. I never get to
Helio,
finish
he's
my
one
whole
of yours,
argument
man.
when it comes to this, man, because
Are you going to do
all
two
kinds of
peer
bullshit
reviews
like
tonight,
this.
Sean?
I'm about to. Go ahead, Helio. Helio, go ahead. No one else talk. Helio, explain, and
Right.
you let us know when you're
he's
done.
talking about two lights, distance, and when they come together at a certain point, that's lateral. I'm talking about one object.
One
Like
object with one
that's
light
what I was
at the
asking.
top and one
Like
light
people
at the
talk about
bottom.
ships.
Yeah.
One
Works
light at the
vertically,
bottom
too.
and one light at the top.
Okay, Sean asked me to give me an
Yeah,
explanation.
yeah.
But someone else.
Everyone,
wants to say.
go ahead, Helio. Everyone else, just let them go.
People talk about ships going away from you and why they disappear bottom first. What about something coming towards you? Or maybe even like that 1,000-foot tower on a virtual plane that I was talking about. When you move toward it, are you going to see the top first? On a virtual plane, no atmosphere, are you going to see the top first?
Yes.
Well,
on a virtual plane?
backlit. It's not dark. There's light everywhere.
No,
you're going to see the top of it first. You're going to start to see the little block of the top of it first when you're moving toward it. From 1,000
Nope.
miles away, you keep moving toward it. You're going to see the whole thing first, or you're going to see little dot on the horizon. And
Are you asking or
you're going to see
telling?
more and more of it.
Are you asking or telling?
I'm asking, what do you think you might see on a virtual plane?
Forget a plane, because you could do this test. If we're saying a virtual plane, then we can say, well, let's just say no floor. Or do you need a plane?
You need a plane because we're claiming that the Earth is a plane.
Okay, perfect. Even better. What you're going to see, the second that tower is within any type of resolution, any kind of visual, the second you're able to see it, you are seeing the top of that tower and the bottom of that tower become bigger equally at the same time.
Hey, Helio, how far away does the tower have to be before you can't see the bottom of it anymore?
It's not bullshit. I can show you it's not bullshit. Now, whether or not you're willing to look at it is your deal.
Helio, tell me how far away that tower has to be before I can't see the bottom of it anymore, but I can still see the top on a flat plane.
God knows. I don't know.
Where
you brought it up. You tell me.
Where does it start obstructing?
I'm just saying on the virtual flat plane, you're going to see.
What about on Earth?
You're going to have some dissolution.
No, let's stay with the virtual flat plane.
You asked me, I'm answering. You're going to see some dissolution happening. There's going to be compression happening toward the top. Will begin to look like it's going down. If you're moving away from it, that you'll still see the top, but it's going to be there's going to be some like fuzziness toward the horizon.
I'm asking you a very specific question. How far away before I lose sight of the bottom of the tower?
Gives a shit how far away. I'm just trying to explain.
I can tell you how far away it'll be on a sphere.
Well, all right, tell me how far the horizon is on a sphere.
I can tell you when the bottom of it will start disappearing, but you were talking about your imaginary plane.
All right.
So tell me how far away the bottom of it has to be.
We've done this
I
before.
can tell you when it starts.
Where's the horizon?
I can tell you when the things will start disappearing. Now, this isn't about the globe. We're talking about a flat plane. How far away does that tower have to be before I lose sight of the bottom of it on a flat plane?
Where does this start obstructing?
I guess I could do the math.
Please do the math. I'd love you to do the math.
I know how to do trigonometry. I just don't know.
Can I help you?
I want to answer it, Dr. Bob. Let me answer it. Please, Dr. Bob, can I answer it?
Go right
Tell
ahead.
me the angular resolution.
Right. If you were a 6-foot man, it would disappear. It would have to disappear at 3.5 miles. But if we're on a flat plane, I don't think it does. But it would have to start disappearing bottom up at 3.5 miles.
This is a 1,000-foot tower.
Disappear because relative to the surface beneath your feet, the angle is very narrow.
Lemon, be quiet. This is Helio's moment. It's his moment to shine. He's going to tell me how far away it has to be on a flat plane before the bottom disappears.
You're standing right in front of it. You're moving away from it, and it's moving away from you, or either way. So eventually it's going to get to a point where the bottom part of the building, in a virtual flat plane, no atmosphere, where and a virtual backlight, because you wouldn't be able to see it otherwise, right? It doesn't have any lights on it or anything. You have to
your chicken, you cook it.
Why is everything virtual?
Well, so how far away will it be before the bottom disappears?
The globe Earth is virtual. You guys believe in some bullshit.
No, I can measure that.
No, we definitely
I can measure it, and I have measured it.
So
don't even try that.
You measure the globe Earth?
Yeah, I sure did. Now, tell me how far away that building has to be before I lose sight of the bottom of the building above the flat plane.
You're going to start
how many miles?
See less and less of the top of it, from top to bottom.
I want to talk to bottom.
The whole goddamn thing before you.
Where does the bottom disappear, Helio? Where's the bottom disappear, Helio? How many miles?
I don't know, man.
Okay, so you don't know, but you're going to claim that happens, even though you have no idea where it happens, right?
I see it happen every day. I can watch an airplane go across the sky. It looks big in the sky, and then I see it move across the sky, and it looks small.
You claim that things disappear from the bottom on a flat plane. I asked you to go ahead and tell me how far away that is. but you can't do
I don't
that,
give
can
a
you?
fuck if you think that so
Oh,
if I
it's not
can't give
me
you the
thinking.
number, then
That's
I'm
right.
wrong, right?
That's right.
Is that the deal, Bob?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Because I can give you a number
well, I'm
on
not
a
gonna
sphere.
fucking call you names, but that's just bullshit.
No, that's science.
We'll let the audience judge.
All right. Vote. How about put a vote? One if Bob is right, and 2 if Helio is right.
How about if we just do a peer
me?
review?
People have heard me for many years. That's fine.
Yeah, let's do a peer review. That sounds like a good idea.
At it. I'm just telling you obvious thing. I mean, if you're looking laterally instead of, like I was saying earlier, I mean, this is where someone stopped me earlier. I was like, if you're looking across a plane, it's different than like if you're looking up. It's just like put that building, without looking laterally across a virtual plane and just put it in free space. Like I was saying earlier, it's just going to disappear into a dot.
Oh, Sean, can I do one more?
Across a plane is different. Across a plane, it's different. It's just the way you do view it is different.
Why? Can you tell us why that is different?
Should be obvious to you. It should be obvious to you, but because when
trust me,
you're standing at the ocean, if you think that you're standing at the ocean and that water's curving away from you, that's why you don't get it.
No, it's curving away.
Well, I know it's curving away from me in every direction.
It's curving away.
I know it is in every direction, but I don't understand why you think the plane has anything to do with this. Where the object is in space makes no difference. The angular size is the angular size. Now, back to your question, from 1,000 miles, a 1,000 foot building is only 0.01 degrees. That's below the Rayleigh criterion.
Right.
But you only need a small amount of magnification to be above the Rayleigh criterion. Any set of binoculars would bring it back into view. Okay? That's the answer to your 1,000 mile, 1,000 foot question. The 100 foot width may be a problem. That's way below the Rayleigh criterion.
Right.
But I need to know why you think the plane, whether it's sitting on the ground or up in the air somewhere, why you think that changes the angular size.
I don't know. You ask God why it works that way.
We'll leave that to you. Hey, I got a question for you. Say I take a penny and put it on a long straight wall next to me with Lincoln's head sitting towards the wall, and it's looking like a little disc to me. You got it pictured in your head? How far away do I have to move that penny before Lincoln's head disappears into the wall?
Are you talking about turning the Lincoln penny?
You know what a Lincoln penny is, right? You know his little head is right next to the rim of the penny? If I put a penny up against a wall with his head pointing towards the wall, how far away do I have to move that penny down before his head disappears into the wall and I can only see his shoulders?
Why are you guys so fucking retarded, man?
No.
It's just
that's
like you just make a funny
check.
argument. It's like, this is so stupid.
They're here to discredit flat earthers, confound them with questions and frustrate.
Wait. No one's trying to
Sean, you handle
discredit. No one's trying to discredit flat earthers, Lemon. Don't do that, please. Realistically, I'm giving anyone here
you
the
guys
option
think
to be able to explain what's happening. And Lemon, don't think that what's happening now, because what's happening now is something. You're right, Lemon, but it's not at you. When we have these conversations, you have something to say, whether it be right or wrong to me, you still have a conversation. Helio is running his own circle right now, and that's on him.
But this isn't even an organic conversation.
By the way, Sean, I appreciate
already
you letting me come in tonight.
Know about it. Conversation should have moved on long ago.
I agree.
This is not organic or natural. This is a grilling.
You're right. I agree. I wouldn't mind if it moved on. He's not going to get any answers.
Just move on. And everyone wanted to have a piece of me, and I appreciate you letting me come in. And I'll jump back out. And thanks for having me, Sean, tonight.
Hey, Helio.
I'm messing around.
Hey, Helio. Eat shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
Better yet, hey, Helio, I to be honest, I would really like for some of your other compadres to make an appointment and stop by and debate with me, because I enjoy talking to you. Like I trust me, from the day one when I met you, you're a cool dude. But I got beef.
They aren't going to come out of their hidey hole.
No, that's the problem. I have beef with a lot of them because I know damn well, Helio, you didn't ban me from there, so I have no issues with you. Matter of fact, you've got me in there after being banned, so no issues with you. But the mods that are mod crazy and scared, I want a piece of them, Helio. Please pass the word on for me.
They're way better at this shit than I am.
And by the way, Helio, I gave you a chance.
Yeah, matter of fact,
so I'm not being an asshole to you just to be an asshole. I gave you a chance.
Helio, how about this? Find your two best, and me and Dr. Bob want a piece.
Anytime, Helio. Anytime.
Oh, God. Because Helio, I'm gonna tell you now, you're not one of the guys in there that are the preachers there. I know that. I've been there. I know how it works. They're preaching bullshit, and you can let them know I said that. It's complete bullshit. And until one of them come out from their hiding, because Helio, nothing but I don't care what's going on with you and Bob. Nothing but respect for coming on here. You knew damn well there weren't very many flat earthers here. You're here. You're still here, and you're keeping it cool. But the other guys that ban everyone all the guys that ban people just because they're scared of what someone's got to say, I want a piece of those pussies.
Well, Jose here wants to say that, Helio, what I witnessed today is you didn't provide any positive evidence for flat Earth, and you were unable to present alternatives. You all did was questioning the globe and didn't have answers for how the globe works. Boom.
And here's the other thing. Travis in the chat, I'm going to address this. I'm done not addressing it. I've been on tippy toes for too damn long, and it's pissing me off now. Travis, just because I do not agree with your explanation doesn't make it wrong. Because I can explain my position and explain how your position doesn't work, that does mean you're wrong. There's a huge difference between the two of us. We can explain, or we can both agree on what we see and we have. We can now come to our conclusions. And your conclusion is based on something that has to be there so it can be not curvature. So until you actually come up with that, it's curvature, Travis. I'm not playing this, it's ether band anymore.
Okay, to make an angle, you need a starting point, and it needs to go up and down from that starting point. For you to draw angles for angular resolution, you got to start from the middle of your vision at the horizon. So you need to start at the horizon, up and down, to see if you have an angle that's wide enough beyond angular resolution to be seen beyond the horizon. If the angle is too narrow, it fades into the horizon at that line in the middle of your vision.
No.
So you're not counting the
Hang
angles
on,
properly.
Sean, I've got a question.
From the horizon, and that's where the misunderstanding is coming from.
I've got a question. If something's at 0.00001 degrees, does it go up from its position?
At 0.0001 degrees, if angular resolution is 0.02 degrees from the horizon.
No. I'm not talking about angular resolution. I'm talking about just degrees. So you just put in there what you wanted to hear.
This is what frustrates flat earthers so much. You don't even focus on the freaking issue. You just try to count and
I was going to say again, thanks, Sean. I'm jumping out.
That needs to be answering to our questions as to why we don't see curvature, why there appears to be more land toward the southern hemisphere, why the satellites don't even cover certain areas in the north and southern hemisphere. You're just running interference for a corrupt scientific establishment.
Guy who's going to stay on topic.
Just BS.
It's appreciate you having me on, Sean. Hey, I'm jumping out because, this is
explain.
When I try to bring simple points, and then they try to say, well, you don't understand the math of this and this and this, so the Earth is a globe. Give me a fucking break. Anyway, thanks for having me on, Sean, and fuck you, Bob.
All right, guys.
Sean, I'd like to say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is the math.
Yeah. First thing regarding eclipse, the claim that we see the moon. We do see the moon and the features of the moon through the Earth. So we do see the moon. And the second thing, the older civilization, they knew about the eclipses because they recorded it every few years or every few months. They see a lunar eclipse and they record it. So they could predict through their record the lunar eclipses, but not the solar eclipses, because the solar is seen from the whole Earth. That's why they have records.
They could predict that too. If you go to NASA's
No,
site, it goes over the Saros cycle, which was known.
Are you admitting the Saros cycle, Lemon?
The Saros cycle is on NASA's website. You can predict lunar
Do you
and
admit it? Do you admit
yes,
it's true?
it's known way before Helios.
All right, guys. I just paused it real quick so I can do the super chat. C4, I appreciate it, and I agree. Who hasn't hit those thumbs up? Please do it, if you'd like. Thank you.
Bill had a sphere. That's where you got this wrong, Lemon
What is the
Bird.
Saros cycle,
Geocentrism doesn't. Yeah, sorry, Bob. Geocentrism doesn't mean flat Earth.
Solar eclipses. Lunar
What is the
eclipses happen
Saros cycle?
18
How's it
years.
made?
It's just a chart of all the eclipses and the general pattern. You get eclipses in an 18-year, 10-day
From what?
pattern from the Saros cycle.
18 years, 11 days, 8 hours. And what does that come from?
From them looking at the stars.
No.
Nation of God, angels, and other people who told them how to look at the sky. Who knows? It came from a world.
It comes from 3 lunar cycles: the perigee to perigee, the node to node, and the phase to phase. They all combine to form the Saros cycle every 230 to 260 cycles, because the cycles are slightly different in length. And that's how that works out. So by admitting the Saros cycle, you admit that there's a perigee to perigee, which requires an orbit. You admit that there's a phase to phase, which requires an orbit. And you admit that there's a node to node, which requires not only an orbit, but an ecliptic plane. What's an ecliptic plane? Do you know what that is?
You can have that on a flat plane with it orbiting around, over and around us and around the sun.
You can't.
Yes, you can.
You're welcome to demonstrate the geometry of that, Lemon. Do you want to draw it out for me? Show me the model.
Just go to the Tychonian model.
No,
Just
no,
go
no,
with
no.
the Tychonian model where everything revolves around the sun.
You produce it, Lemon. Where is the ecliptic plane on a flat Earth?
It just goes with the stuff that's revolving over and around us.
What is an
You look at the object as it revolves over and around us, and that's the ecliptic plane when it's revolving over and around us. The ecliptic plane is where it revolves. The ecliptic plane is where it revolves.
The ecliptic plane is the plane of the Earth's orbit around the sun. That's the definition of the ecliptic plane, because all eclipses occur on that plane and only on that plane.
No experiment has proved the Earth moves at all. So the basis of what you're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the ecliptic plane.
That's what we're talking about with the flat Earth.
We're talking specifically about the ecliptic plane. So thank you for admitting. Welcome to reality, Lemon. Welcome to reality.
Welcome to flat Earth.
Oakley does it better. But at least now you admit that the Earth is a sphere, the moon is in orbit around the Earth, and the Earth and the moon are both in orbit around the sun, because you admitted the Saros cycle. Thank you very much.
I'll deny it tomorrow.
Hey, thank you, and hang on, guys. Thank you, Ali B, for the super chat. I'm not sure what is a DKK. What type is that? Is that? I don't know what he is.
I think it's Swedish, isn't it?
I think so. It says shout out to
Sweet
SC
Corner?
Montreal, Seek and Find, Lemon Bird, and the Plain Truth. Shout out from Ali B to you guys.
Hey, what's good?
Travis, I will say this again. It does not matter. Again, everyone around can agree. I know your argument inside and out. Of anybody, I'm the one, Travis. I'm trying to get this debate, the modern day debate. Let me say this the last time. I'm not going to say it again. Doesn't matter if I've seen your claim or you've explained your claim 1 to 100 times. If it's not correct, you throw it out. Like, he keeps getting like he's all like, it's like, you don't listen to me. I listen to you, Travis. I know your fucking claims. I know your claims probably better than you know your claims. Your problem only lies in the fact that I can explain them away.
He's not going to debate you again.
Well, hey, we'll see. If James doesn't hit me up and say, hey, this is the date, then I know Travis declined. And if Travis declined, then something's wrong. If your claim is that correct, regardless of the fact that I've destroyed your claim numerous times, Travis, you should be more than willing to debate me on the modern day debate. That's all I gotta say. Or we can do it tonight if Jose wants to do it. But other than that, man, I mean, I'm seriously, like, every time I tell you it's not Etherman, it's curvature, you get all irate and then go, you don't listen to my claims. You don't care. Dude, no, Travis. Of anybody, let me say this again. Of anybody, I've taken the most time with you to hearing your claim over and over again. Then I break it down in my head, and I'd ask you questions to help understand your claim. I've done this for almost a year now, Travis. It's almost, you guys realize that it's been a year since the first time I did this with Etherman?
Hey, Travis, I'm the one that doesn't care. It's not Sean. Sean gives you the time of day. I don't.
That's the reality of it. That's why when you, Travis, when you sit there and play that, you guys aren't hearing me, you guys don't care, or you don't watch my video. I watch them, Travis. I hear you. I've listened to you. I have gone to the upteenth mile for your claim. And honestly, I did it thinking, if I respect his claim like I respected his, or I respected yours, maybe you'd actually look into what I'm saying and why I think yours is wrong. You're not even willing to do that. So I guess the better question would be, Travis, do you hear my claim? Do you listen to what I'm saying when I say it?
My voice. It seems weird you talking to him out there and he's not responding because he's not in Discord. Sounds like you're talking to yourself.
I know, but he's in the chat. Well, that's the thing. He's not responding to me.
Yeah,
or he is, but I'm not reading it. I'm literally just talking.
He says that might be true, but you don't listen. It's the same stuff he's saying.
Yeah.
Nobody listens.
Well, I think the ether band essentially breaks down to a layer of air that can carry the light to you. That's,
Shut up.
Well, see, that's the thing. But that all is fine and all. But again, when it comes to obstruction, his explanation for the obstruction is worse than Helio's explanation for it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't believe a body of water could obstruct something. He doesn't believe it. As long as it's not curvature to Travis, then it's an explanation for him. He'll agree to everything. We've done this 3 times now.
He won't do it over land, will he?
Well, you can have a layer of air that can block and give you refraction. So that's possible too. I just wish that he would talk about the ether, and the the derivation behind the ether band, whatever it is. The history of the ether would be very fascinating.
Well, here's the problem. His explanation has nothing to do with any kind of ether at all. Any kind of ether.
What was that?
It's literally atmospheric conditions. And he'll even tell you that. It's not like, your version of ether. It has nothing to do with that. He
made it up because it's a buzzword.
Yeah, he renamed atmospheric conditions, and he'll tell you that. Yeah, he doesn't really have that much of an argument for it.
Buzzword he made up.
You know how it goes with kids, Hannah. Pee, doo. They just make up whatever they feel like.
Well, I told you were going to get salty if you stayed in this community and debated people.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody.
You better watch
it.
He's gonna
That's the one thing I can say right now. I don't think, right. Matter of fact, Lemon, I've only heard you, I'm not going to say disrespectful, but not in your cool, calm mode. And that was that one time. And I've talked about this numerous times. I think I've asked you to say something before, but I call it thug lemon. It was some situation in debate, Flat Earth and more, where someone got like really irritated, and what I call thug lemon came out because it wasn't the lemon we all hear, and it's a phenomenon. It's true. Lemon, is it true? Is there
Well,
right?
I try to keep it business-like now because we got government trolls and other provocateurs. They're just trying to frustrate the crap out of flat earthers and run interference for the corrupt physics scientific establishment that has been lying to us for 500 years.
You could just say yes or no. Long diatribe.
Hang on. But regardless of what Lemon just said, it's the thing is here. Hang on. And I think we all can agree with this. We all have to agree. Lemon, thank you for never making it personal.
Yes, that's why I always said Lemon's my favorite.
I don't think I've ever heard you get disrespectful
Really
or personal
nasty.
with somebody. And for even my side, Globe, and everyone, you're one person I know hasn't. So thank you for that. If anything, thank you for that.
You need to shut the hell up about viruses. Stop it, Lemon. I'm telling you, stop it.
Well, the main thing is
don't go there. Don't go there, Lemon. Just don't go there.
Kind of asked.
I'm on a roll today. I already squashed chemo earlier.
All right, damn it, I missed it.
Oh, it was pretty good. People were picking on Verbal last night so badly. I was getting so pissed. Oh God, yeah, it was ugly. Well, Grimm was in there. You can imagine.
Yeah, I showed up. I think. See, last night, I'll be honest. The reason I didn't go live last night, guys, is I got home, got on the computer, and then I got up and laid down, and I went to sleep. But I did wake up around 2 o'clock in the morning to listen to Grimm and some other guy going, like, it was like, everyone else said they would have been doing it for like 2 hours, talking about vaccines, like they knew exactly what they were talking
guy,
about. Yeah. And then
9/11. It started with 9/11, and then it ended up into the stupid pandemic stuff.
Yeah, there was a big discussion about the nature of disease, germ versus terrain theory that we should have been having long ago.
What's germ versus terrain?
I'm putting that in my report to the reptilian overlords, Lemon.
There you go.
What is that though?
We could have used you, Dr. Bob, last night too, because it was all out war.
I've been on a couple of these things. Believe it or not, the only time I've ever made any headway with these conspiracy types was actually today on Nathan Oakley's Discord server.
No way.
I was utterly shocked. Oakley wasn't there, of course, but the folks that were there actually shut up for a moment and listened. And Lemon, of course, immediately left to run over to I think it was Jose's.
Hell yeah.
But they were actually really nice. They were really nice over there today and actually listened and asked good questions, sort of. Other than the fact they wanted to know if we burned
I was
the
kind of
bodies.
surprised at our side how rude they were. It wasn't the questions, it was how rude they were to him, how condescending. And it was from people that normally you do that.
Well, I'm normally a nice guy. Helios got a special place in hell for me right now.
Put this way.
He asked for that. though. He had every opportunity
he did.
get that.
Okay, put this way.
Talking about the people that were beaten up on Verbal last night.
Who was Verbal?
He's
a doctor. He's RSC. You probably don't know him, but he's been around the community for way before Flat Earth stuff. So I've known him for quite a while. Yeah.
But they were trying to beat up on a doctor.
Yeah,
oh yes, he's like a head resident too in internal medicine, so he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm an internist myself. I'm internal medicine myself, and I've been practicing for 30 years.
You know Grimm, Dr. Bob.
Yeah.
It was Grimm that
Grimm
was doing it. Yeah, Grimm was doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have gone over very well with me.
Wasn't the only one though.
This is deadly stuff, though.
Well, I know Grimm I know Verbal Diary because he messaged me the other day other night, and he was telling me about Grimm coming in there and starting shit with him. Grimm's been trying to fuck with him.
And he's such a nice guy. I mean, and these people are putting their families and their lives at stake, and they're treating them like dirt.
yeah, I've been nice. I've been nice to Grimm. You know, I've never had a confrontation with Grimm. But you don't need to do that to people that are literally, as you say, putting their lives at stake.
Wait, you and Grimm have never actually had a convo about vaccines?
My God.
We've had a convo, but we've never had a confrontation about it.
Had years of it with him.
Yeah, because every time.
I mean, it was actually, you know, it wasn't an unpleasant conversation. You know, it's not like, you know, I sit down and think, oh shit, Grimm's here.
Oh, we do.
Oh,
Most
he
of us
was
do.
also, you
But
know,
that's 'cause he's an
picking
asshole.
up Wakefield as part of his citations.
Yeah, well, I can handle that. I mean, I don't have any problem handling that.
I can
Well,
handle it.
Grimm gets it a lot
and
of
I know-
times because he's a free thinker, independent. He looks into alternative theories like the terrain theory. Germ theory
Lemon,
basically says.
were we talking to you, Lemon?
But Lemon, the
the
difference.
room
Look,
full of
the
funny
thing
people,
is
if you're gonna
that
translate
would
the
be
acronym about
Lemon. You'd be right on one thing. The problem with Grimm isn't so much what he says; it's the fact that if you disagree with him, he gets irate and then he wants to fight you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He was just being horrible.
The only problem with Grimm is that I actually live in California, and we both know we're about 3.5, 4 hours from each other. And I told, like, every time he gets aggressive with me, I go, Grimm, dude, drive south. Let me know when I can get there's 100 gyms across California I can go to, and we can spar for free. You don't have to threaten to beat me up. We can spar. Never takes me up on the offer.
Does he know your size?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He's
not
the
very
thing
big.
is, I'm bigger than most. I'm just not fucking that 7
He's
foot
not
tall.
very small either.
I guess right now, I spar with guys much bigger than me. It would take a very giant person to first catch me and then hurt me. But that's here nor there.
To catch you, yes. you little muppet, you just run
you
away.
You gotta catch me with a fist.
Run away!
I'm Travis. I don't know what the deal is. If you're not going to debate me on modern day, just say it now so I can stop wasting my time. Otherwise, we can do it there. Or Jose said he's more than willing anytime. I was at a moment's notice. And like I said, I don't want to do it here because I don't think I'm set up for debates. You know, the sharing process and all that stuff, and I don't like when other people take over my shit and act like they're in charge, and I have to listen to them. It doesn't feel right here.
Oh, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to do it now.
It's a lot better to have a third person running the debate. So basically the two debaters just call in and then they share screens, and then somebody like Jose just makes sure everything works. I've tried doing even live presentations sometimes could be a challenge by yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to watch the chat and share screens and approve screen shares and watch out for, porn bombs.
No. See, what I do is I pick 1.5. 1.5 of what? 1.5 of something going on at the time. So I could be listening to one of you guys, which means halfway in the chat. But if I'm in Discord, that means I'm watching. See, I'm already confused. That's how it works. That's why sometimes I'll go an hour and a half and not even remember the chats there.
Travis says he's agreed.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that.
Agreed on the debate or on the Jose's tonight?
Yes. Travis, did you hear that?
I mean, because like I was saying the other day when we did models and the explanation that flat earthers don't have, where it's like this, and this, but they don't have a full explanation for it, or they're not always ready at a moment's notice to provide evidence. I'm always ready. Always ready. Matter of fact, Travis, you are to thank for your own destruction. You're the reason I'm so well versed in this topic now. I throw all topics aside. I'm only horizon and expanding obstruction. Thank you.
Damn, I keep leaving my icon on. Shit.
Hey, can I get you guys' opinion on
something?
You said
modern day debate. All right, Travis. Yeah, what's up, Dr. Rob?
I've been tinking around with something for a month or two now. These memberships. And I finally decided I'd go ahead and hit a membership for my channel because, I put a poll out the other day and people asked me to put out less material. I'm just overloading folks. So I'm going to be putting out material on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I was thinking about maybe having a live behind the scenes chat on Thursdays and maybe giving some of the members a little access to the videos that are coming out next week, kind of go over them and look for errors and kind of get opinions on how things could be done, and then they'll actually go out to the general public the next week.
Oh, nice.
Everybody is going to get, everybody that's not a member will get to see everything on the channel. It's just that if you're a member, there's going to be a live chat, and you're going to possibly get to see the next week's videos a little early.
Nice.
And, I've been kind of getting mixed reviews from it. I don't know if anybody signed up for it, but I don't think I'm changing anything for the free, for the free side of it, and it's still based on that. But if people wanted to get together and have kind of a behind the scenes chat on collabs and, kind of go over some stuff, I thought it would be a nice thing to do since I'm not going to put out videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays anymore.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, because I was going to do that earlier, like a few months ago. I was going to try to do that. I did that little stupid test they do. Yeah. But that was also when I started working, so it was like I can't.
Well, some people gave me shit for it, and that's I was kind of curious. Is that a bad thing to do?
Oh, absolutely. Put it this way: anyone who is a content creator deserves something, and you are definitely like you, Blue. You guys are definitely components that put a lot of content and knowledge out, and that shit. And especially live streaming is hard, but I can only. Like I've tried doing the uploaded way, and the whole it's a different animal.
But I don't do many live streams for super chats and crap like that. And the other thing that I was thinking about doing is apparently internet strippers have like private, have like members only sections. So I could sell some of the plaid shirts, maybe wear a hat and auction it off. I could bring in props and auction those off.
Auction off the shit like that. Auction off the experiments that debunked Riley.
Yeah, I'm gonna auction off this astrolab.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't
think I'll sell my socks or anything, but
like I said, I think.
Well, why not? I mean, if someone's gonna buy them, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Just don't advertise your socks like COVID cure socks. Just don't do that.
I can't.
Nah, I think that's immoral. I think ethically, it's not a good idea.
Oh, ethics. Oh yeah, that.
Well, you can put C, V, and then 1.9, and if they interpret it that way, they interpret it that way. It's 2020.
It could be like a COVID enlarger, and a COVID enlarger pill. Yeah.
Just write TikTok on a piece of paper and kids will buy it. Don't worry.
Just write coven free. Because they're free of witches.
Yeah, yep.
Coven free, yep.
There you go. All right,
I was
guys.
just kind of wondering, a lot of you guys been around for a while. I was just wondering if that was a dick move on my part or
no. Okay. Anyone who's a content creator,
some people said it was a dick move.
No,
and,
no, not at all. For instance,
I feel validated now.
Like I said, if I was still streaming consistently, I was going to do it, but I don't stream enough anymore, and I don't do uploads at all, so I really be screwing people. So that's when it's not cool. But you're a content creator. I don't see why not.
Well, everything that I create is going to go out to the public. Everything I create goes out to the public. And
yeah, maybe just do like a premiere, and the only members get to be at the premiere, and then from premiere it goes to the upload.
Yeah, something like that. Like that. I was thinking about playing them on Thursday night. I'll play the next week's videos and we'll go over them. And
nice.
HNG.
People will point out mistakes.
Why when you look up in the incognito tab that you got no searches, right? I look on YouTube, I type in Jose Flat Earth, and my name coming first, my channel. The hell?
When what? When you type
You
in
type
what?
in on YouTube Jose Flat Earth. Jose Flat Earth.
Oh,
And
really?
my channel coming first, yeah.
I don't know if it says my channel comes if I put Flat Earth. I don't really. I think I'm pretty sure it does. I know if you put Truth
Yeah.
Army in, it does.
I put Jose JG and my channel coming first, but also Jose Flat Earth, my channel coming first. What?
Well, then you're doing a great job.
Well, I know the other
Guys, I
day
got to get going. This tablet's going dead.
I have a good one, Dr. Bob. Thank you. I appreciate
Good
it
night,
tonight.
guys. Thanks
Later,
for the
Bob.
feedback.
Dr. Bob.
I really needed to find out what you guys thought. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. You definitely deserve that. You definitely do. No worries.
Take care, guys.
Say that's because you browbeat us into thumbsing up.
That's right. That's right. I'm such a good arguer. I just drive it home and you agree to anything I ask. That's cool. You guys are great, and I really appreciate the feedback you give me on my stuff, and point out when I'm wrong. And I learned stuff that way. I appreciate
it. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Good one. Yeah, guys.
You're wrong. I just want to say that.
I don't know if anybody else. I mean, we can keep going if someone else has something to talk about. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and end this one. Again, another good
all
note.
cocked out, Sean.
That'd be amazing. I am. That also, I'm not gonna lie. I also have a plate of potatoes, eggs, and bacon in front of me, and I mean, I've been eating it, but like I can't.
I have seasoned fries. Can't beat that.
Well, I got more on my plate, so ha.
We're talking, and I actually went to the store and picked up groceries. Came back, and you were still talking.
Hey, wait! I got good news. I got good news.
What's up?
I got good news. If I go to incognito tab and I type Blue Marble, maybe like number 20, we got first Blue Marble Science channel, and then we got Blue Marble Nations with 117,000 subs. So Blue Marble is above him. Boom.
Ooh.
Surely. No, I don't have to end this, guys. If you guys want to keep going, go ahead. I'm just gonna go MIA for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, my ass.
No, I'm still live.
Last time he said 10 minutes, he never came back, right, Blue? We fell asleep.
Hang on. Hang on.
He
Let
still
me make
didn't
this
come
clear.
back.
When I say I'll be back and I'm live, I mean it. When I end the stream and I say I'll be back, I'll be back after I eat, use the facilities, maybe smoke a cigarette.
Sleep 8 hours.
Smoke, and then I'll come back in. Sometimes it happens really quick. Sometimes that encompasses 8 hours. But I always come back. You guys
next
leave.
Day.
Yeah.
I came back the next day, and I'm like, "What? Did Sean ever show up?" No.
So wait. So if we went hiking and
we
got
dust.
lost, yeah. See, you just leave me. You wouldn't wait.
I would leave you.
I'm like, I'm gonna go check around that bed, making sure it's safe. Don't leave me. Stay here.
Aww.
She'd be gone.
I'd be
Hurts.
gone hoofing it. I know. Right to the core.
No, but I did want to just. I mean, I'm not gonna end it this second. I got so much to say. And again, I feel like it. I like Helio. Helio actually is one of the reasons I left Flat Earth. Helio is the person that he told me one day we were in I was a Flat Earther. We were in Debate Flat Earth and More, and this is when I used to go in there and get shit stirred up. And when I say stirred up, like I used to go in there and be like, I know they're gonna be dicks, so I'm gonna say something, wait for one to fucking chime off, and I'm gonna get triggered because I've always get triggered easy. But Helio is one person. We were sitting in there and he DMs me and he says something to me that I've never forgot and I actually use to this day. He said the best way to beat an argument is to shut up. I said, what? He said, you go there and you want to argue with them. Just shut up and listen. You need to know what their claims are, and then that's how you beat them.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You're good.
I would like to welcome Multi Tom Tom to come over and tell me why am I a scam artist, and I will entertain him. Multi Tom Tom,
Yeah,
come
I
over,
want to
man.
know how. I want to know how he's a scam artist because I don't see it, and I need to know. I don't want to be scammed. No one does. Tell us, please.
If I am a scam artist,
Yeah.
I'm like one of the worst because I'm a broke as a motherfucker.
No, you one of the best because no one can tell. Even though dumbasses like Multi think they know all, tell us so we should believe him because he said so.
Browbeats us to do a thumbs up.
I'm sorry. I've heard Multi Tom Tom debate twice.
Oh, it's pathetic, isn't it, Sean?
Helio
Oh my
sounded
God.
like a genius compared to Multi Tom Tom.
Did you hear him debating the moon with Jen Panda on my channel a while ago?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Just him talking. Just if you said, Multi, how was your day? Just his conversation is just like mind-numbingly creepy. It's like just the way he talks, the things he says. It's just. I'm happy he is a chat person and not a panel person.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think he'll come on here. I think he's too scared of that shit. But I wanted to say, yeah, he's the one who got me to really realize that I don't need to go into a room and ask 1,000 questions aggressively and then laugh if I didn't get an answer. He made it clear. Just shut up and listen. They'll tell you all the things you need to know to beat them. And that's how I started doing it. But yeah.
Actually, they just contradict themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
they debunk themselves if you let them talk long enough.
Big Blue did it too. Big Blue did, yeah. Big Blue proved it. I mean, Big Blue did it wonderfully. That was amazing.
No, there's one person, like, this is so random, but I think one of the slowest speakers in this corner of the discussion in YouTube is the Adam Meekin. Shout out to the Adam Meekin. He's a good guy. He's really smart, but if you put him 2 times speed in any of the shows, he sounds like normal time speaking.
I was going to say like John Watson or Tersh. I think it's a Scottish thing, though. No, Ali's Scottish. And Ali talks fast. Ali can talk, like he can have a conversation or he can talk fast. But John and Tersh, like they're in like slow motion.
And then if you give a script to Ali B and Al K, both the same script, and every person read one sentence, like pick up where the other one left and read the whole thing, you don't know who is who at the end. You don't know who be talking about Ali B and Al K.
Yeah, more all those foreigners. What do you stream about today, Jose? I didn't get to listen today.
I did. I had the neighbors were doing construction, so there was hot music. It was loud radio, and I just did a quick intro, like everybody hit the like, give me money, and join the show. And did within like 2 minutes when I went live, like actually live. I had like 6 or 7 people, so it was really good. Lemon Bird was there. Chris Berry joined in the beginning. I allowed him in for a little bit.
Cool.
There was a bunch of people, and it was really good. The last hour or so, it was just us chatting around. It was decent. It was good.
Yeah, my phone went down, so I couldn't listen. I was pissed. I was talking to myself all day.
Talking to yourself all day, and you're still talking?
Well, yeah, because I get.
Please, Sean.
It's not like I meant a damn thing. I hate hearing myself talk. You think I listen to these things? I don't listen to these live streams. All you people that re-listen to these streams, you guys got issues listening to me over and over again.
Oh, Sly Sparken came in. He had a little go with, who was it? It was Lemon Bird, and who was the other flat earther that was there?
Sly there?
Yeah, Sly went in.
There.
Yeah.
Nice.
How the hell did I miss that?
Who else was there?
Because
I know you were there. Bob the Science Guy was there. It was a bunch of people.
Like until this COVID thing is done, like if you live stream, you literally have to do the intro in. Like I get like it's funny. I have better views on my I'm live streaming notification that I upload than I do on my uploads. It's amazing, but a lot of people have already told me that they didn't even know I was streaming except for those uploads. So
yeah, that being said, I gotta delete mine early. I've been deleting them. After I go offline, I delete it and then I upload a new one tomorrow. So on.
Oh yeah, so it'll let you. Yeah, well, I'm a dumbass. My reason now mine are only like 20 seconds is because I just change them a little bit because obviously you can't. They won't let you do the same one over and over again. So I just change it just a little, just a hair.
Yeah, that's why I deleted. I just deleted. Upload the same. It's the same over and over.
Yeah. But hey, I'd keep it because remember that your link's still in there, so it's going to send you to another video. I mean, if they think it's live, even though it says a month ago, that's their problem. That'd be funny. Send a bunch of people to a link that's not even live.
Yeah. No, it was Schrodinger's cat was there too.
Nice.
Erebus,
I
Farmer's
remember
Boy.
Schrodinger's. I must have missed it. To rewatch it.
Yeah. It was decent. We had a laugh. The funniest thing was they were talking about rainbows a little bit. And then Erebus asked, Lemon Bear, what color is the water? And Lemon Bear, it's blue. It's blue. If they went through the what color is the water, they said, so if you put ice, if you got ice in your freezer, what color is it? It's like a whatever, pinkish, grayish, depends on the wow. It was amazing, bro. You gotta hear that shit.
I'll watch it tonight when I lay down, and then I'll watch it in the morning.
Was pretty funny.
They were talking about what color was the water. Oh my god.
Erebus did that little interview. It was hilarious. They started talking about Himalayan salt.
Huh?
Himalayan
salt?
Himalayan salt. You know the pink salt that you get from...
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
I had no idea what they were going on about.
Isn't that stuff good
Something
for like
about
Epsom
being in
salt?
the clouds.
It's like the third conversation about Himalayan salt I've heard today.
Lemon was talking about salt being in the cloud or something. Something really off the wall.
Yep, it was funny.
Remember,
There was a
Jose?
silence.
Constable.
So what again?
Do you remember?
I was trying to smoke until someone stole it.
I lost I lost the voice for a second. Tell me again.
Remember what they were talking about? Why did they got on the Himalayan salt? And was Lemon talking about salt in the clouds?
I think some kind of a sea or an ocean or a lake that it had a pink color. They were talking about the salt in the water. I'm not sure how we got there. It's just
Listen to that. It was also bizarre.
Talking about taking baths and shit. Like,
Oh, I
what does
think
that
he
have to
was
do with the
talking
shape
about
of the Earth?
magnetism again.
Like, what does that have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Instead of gravity. That's what it was. It was magnetism because he doesn't believe in gravity.
I don't understand how you don't believe in gravity. It's not just scripture. It's not someone just telling you, we can show it. That's when I started getting
It's
frustrated.
really not a belief. It's like evolution. I don't believe in evolution. Well, good thing, because it's not a belief system. There you go.
I'm just saying. I've always felt this way. If someone believes in God, they should believe in anything that's been trying to be explained, like evolution, because that seems to be the smart way to go, and that would be a God way of doing it. I think that's like a way he doesn't have to like keep an eye on his flock.
You know. Nice painting, Sean.
You should go in the bunker, or not the bunker, my other server, the Truth Frontline. Sean's got a whole channel designated for himself. He puts all his paintings in there.
Sean,
I don't
do you
have
have any
that.
Himalayan sea salt?
Shut up.
What'd you say, Davros? What'd you just say?
I've been listening to this. I've been listening to this last 45 minutes going, okay, so Helio cracked it because he couldn't get resolution. Lemon obviously had to go lick some salt.
He's a salt licker.
He's say it like that. It sounds
after
so
the windows.
weird.
Those salty windows.
Oh, good grief. We've lost it. Everybody's
That's
going cabin
I'm telling
fever,
you,
stir crazy.
that's the amazing part, though. Like I said, of all the people,
Get out, Sean.
everyone, Lemon's probably the only person I've never heard get disrespectful to somebody.
He can get disrespectful. He's just not a total asshole like some people are.
Hey, I want to share.
He'll just leave usually.
I'm gonna share that clip really quick, Shunji, where Lemon, where Erebus asks Lemon. Let me see. I think I got it right.
Let me click up there real quick.
Please, thumbs up out there, everybody.
I'm a full screen so we can hear what we got.
Yeah,
here.
Jose's
some
dictator.
A Tom whore.
You are a thumb bully.
We ready? I'm gonna hit play on this.
Yeah. All we see is the Discord screen.
Let me see.
Yeah, share again.
Never get that to work.
Yeah.
It's also given a double.
Yeah, we got it now. All right. Go live.
Who's got the
Close
feedback? Of course, it's Jose.
Is it me?
It was when we had the when you were sharing Discord.
Okay. Hey, we got it now, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hit play on this. It's just a few seconds.
Record? No, that's just getting warmed up.
You heard the audio, right?
Hey, Lemon.
Yeah.
What's that?
What color is water?
Tends to be blue.
What?
Bluish.
Bluish. I'm sorry. Wait.
What?
Everybody silent. We need a good audio clip. Can we just start again, Erebus and Lemon?
Okay.
Bluish.
That was good. One more time. Hold on.
Hey, Lemon.
What's that?
What color is water?
Tends to be blue.
What?
Bluish.
Bluish.
I must stop right there. Yeah, you gotta check it out, man. It's fun.
I will definitely watch that.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna post the link in here.
Thank you.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Colors, water.
I know that's funny. Amy was there. Amy having fun. That's right.
Sorry, Sean's perspective on that globe looks better than any flat Earth model.
It's a model of the artwork on the globe. It's everywhere. Yeah, that was a fun part because I didn't think the stream was going to be as great as it was, but I'm sorry. Like I said, I got nothing but respect for Helio, but Helio still is 24/7. He still has, as of late, has gotten it like this weird arguing thing going for him, where he likes to just argue without points. But I like him nonetheless. But nowadays it's really opened my eyes to what arguments are being had, and like I said, man, it opens up doors to what I think about a lot of other things going on when it comes to this debate, which really isn't a debate.
Yep. Chunji, I'm out of here, man. We'll start feeding. Start feeding out now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night. It was fun, bro.
Shanji.
Have a good one. Well, yeah, because people in the chat are all like, "No, keep going live," and I'm like, "Okay."
Go eat your din. It's getting late.
I'm wearing out. I worked all day. I'm tired. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out
It's
of here.
only lunchtime.
Stop saying that.
Dinner. It's after dinner. It's almost 8. It's 7:42.
It's 1:12 Friday. Get it right.
7:42 Thursday.
7:42 on your Salt Lick plane.
Well, they're not upside down like you are.
That's from your reference frame, but my reference frame, you guys are all upside down.
Fraction!
Wait a minute. Define down.
Towards the center of your feet, Sean.
Then how? Then that means to both of you, you're right side up in your reference.
But
I'm leaving.
And that's actually a description of
yeah. I'm trying to fucking say philosopher nonsense jokes. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. Oh God, don't. It's not funny. Remember, we had a peer review.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I'll go live tomorrow. I got 3 peer
Davros
reviews to
is
do.
next.
I know. We got 3 peer reviews to do. One of them, it will be more of a serious one. I'll let you know when that's going to be, or who that will be when it happens. What I'm going to do is pretty much every time we do the peer review, serious or not, it will become an upload the next day. That's what I'm going to end up doing. The upload I did last night was or the other night was it's going to be the intro for that. So I just wanted to get that out there and see what people thought. I see a super chat. Mr. Victory, thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. He says, since you're still streaming, yes, I was, but I can't anymore. I am so tired. My eyes are struggling to stay open, and I'm hungry. So I'm going to get out of here. I do appreciate you guys being here, though. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Davros. And everyone else that talked. Yep.
Oh, good, my bro.
Yep. I will see you guys around. I'll probably see you in a little bit at Davros.
You got another
Yeah.
super chat.
Yeah, I just read that one. That was the one I just read.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all good. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Hey, I will not be back.
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow, maybe. See you tomorrow morning, Jose. Where did Jose? Oh, he left.
He took off. I think I heard him say he's going to do something tomorrow. I didn't hear what it was, though. But yeah. Blue, you have a good night.
Hey, you too, Sean.
Dark Seed, you have a good night. Thanks for being here. Ozzy White
never
Knights.
said anything.
Yeah, we have some of them. GPS never says anything. I feel like if he's not here, something's wrong. He was here.
Ozzy White Knight Baller. That's great. I love it.
Do this and we're gonna do this last part. Then I'll get out of here. And there we go. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I will talk to you guys later.
Hey, man.
Later. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for being here, hanging out. It was a fun night. Got to go back and forth with Lemon and Helio. I do hope Helio goes back, or any flat earthers of 24/7 go back and let them know I am looking for them. Not only them, but their 2 best. And we'll see what happens. I would go there and do it myself, but apparently if your name is Sean G, you're banned instantly. I'm so banned from 24/7. I have 2 other Discord accounts I don't think I've ever been there to, and somehow they're banned from there too. That's how bad it is, guys. And I'm not even kidding. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the fuck out of here. You guys have a good one. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.